Okay, so we're live now. First of all, how's the weather where you are at?
It's good. It's good. It's pretty sunny.
Uh, it's been raining here for like 2 days, 3 days.
Mm.
Um, it's been something like called an atmospheric river, which is like apparently there's a rivers in the sky. I didn't know that. Um,
There's
so
rivers in the sky. What does that mean?
yeah. So you know how circulation works with like moisture goes up in the air and down and stuff like that, right? So apparently, like moisture in the air can also travel,
Mm.
uh, which like a lot of moisture moves, and so that's like called an atmospheric river, and that's been going across lower mainland here in British Columbia. So yeah, we've been getting a lot of rain. I think the same is true for Seattle, but I'm not sure if Seattle got so much rain. But yeah, we did. We
Hold
get a
on. So,
lot of rain.
but are they actually like? They're not actually like rivers, though, right? Like the same way
Um,
they.
well, it's the same principle though.
Really?
I mean, you have water moving through like a channel, right? That's a
Mm.
river. And here you have water moving because of the wind, and it's just like it's going in a particular direction, so it's pretty much a river. Um, that's why it's called an atmospheric river. I mean, when we think of rivers, we think of the thing on the land, right? But that's not the only kind of river that there is, apparently.
Mm. Okay.
Weird stuff happens. Science. I've been researching some. I've been reading some like scientific papers for a video, and I'm
Mm.
like, science is not to be anti-science and Trumpy and all that, but science is weird. Like they don't have any answers apparently. Like for many things are just subjective. Um, it's just weird.
Like what? What's subjective?
So the thing that I'm doing right now, which I'm studying for a video, is about radiocarbon dating.
Okay.
And apparently human elements can also impact that, like
Mm-hmm.
radiocarbon dating. People think of it as this like solid objective thing. Oh, we've carbon dated an object, it's from this period, that's done and dusted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that done and dusted. It's got so many variables, it's got so many incredible amount of variables, that it can also become like there's also a subjective human element of it, because somebody has to read the data and interpret it, and that's not always like done with some sort of an objective measure. There's debate about what is good and what isn't good, and then there's people who prefer one or the other, so it's like it's really complicated. um,
Mm.
so yeah, it's just weird in some ways.
Mm.
So what are you working on these days?
What am I working on? I'm doing a lot of Middle Eastern focused stuff. I branched
Really?
out like Lebanon, Israel, Palestine, Iran,
Hmm.
predominantly those four places. I branched out and did something about Bangladesh, but that video is a flop, which is very annoying.
Well, yeah, it was a very good video. Which,
Thank you, dude. I thought so too. Without sounding arrogant, I like
yeah,
to be a harsh judge of my own content, but yeah, the results are not speaking for themselves.
yeah, I've been making content in one way or another since 2009,
Mm.
and like the one thing that I've sort of deduced or come to understand is that the videos or the content that you work the hardest on is usually not what does the best. Um,
Dude,
it's sometimes the laziest put together thing that would do the best. It's
a
just
100%,
annoying, but I don't know.
a
It
hundred
happens.
percent. One of my videos, I anticipated it would get around 30,000 views. It's on 1.2 million.
Mhm.
It's like what the hell? And then other videos that I anticipated to do really well, and I put a lot of time and graft into it, they're struggling to get above 30,000.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I recently made a video explaining why I changed my channel,
Yeah.
and it was like from the previous 10. YouTube shows you the number of videos. It was number one. It beat All of them. It beat the one about the death of the prophet, which I
Mm,
worked so hard on. I've been working on that script since March when I went to Pakistan. I was reading the book on the airplane, and it beat that even. And then there's the fratricide video was kind of lazy as well, but that didn't do very well. So yeah, it's
yeah,
just always moving
I
between
know,
them.
I know. And from a reinforcement point of view, it doesn't really reinforce very positive. It doesn't leave you with very
Yeah,
positive takeaways. You know?
yeah, yeah. It does. It also, like, you, if you make something lazily and you think that it does well, then
Mm,
you might say, oh, I'm going to do things lazily, but then you might
exactly.
put too much time into making things lazy.
Yeah.
So it's sort of weird in that way. I don't know. The internet, generally is just weird.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to allude to. It
Mhm.
almost encourages you to just make more, I don't know, surface level clickbaity type stuff,
Mhm.
which is obviously a problem.
Yeah, yeah, true. Like like kings and generals, for example, they have these rather surface level videos, but because of the quantity of the videos and um, the general, like, topics and stuff, they do pretty well in that
Hmm.
category, I guess. Not to say anything negative about them, just saying that they do things differently.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of questions that we got on Instagram, I had a couple of questions that were actually interesting ones.
Gone.
Okay, first of all, I really hate questions like, is Islam compatible with the West, or this West, that West? Uh, can Islam modernize, stuff like that? Like, come on, haven't we talked about that since, like, the Crusades?
Yeah, but those are the really juicy questions, man.
Yeah, those are like the
Those are.
juicy questions, true, but I don't know. We've talked. Everybody has talked about that for centuries, and it's just something that people ask, but it doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't actually tell you anything. Um, it's just stupid. Um, like, there's this question, like, the age old question about, is science compatible with religion?
Hmm.
Um, it's like this very basic question, like, when you have your awakening or enlightenment at the age of 12,
Yeah.
you start asking this question, and you become this annoying Facebook teenager who's, like, always questioning this, and who has a photo of, like, a couple of scientists, including, unfortunately, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and there are these people, and
What's
that
your problem
question,
with deGrasse Tyson?
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
um, what's interesting about that question is that it was resolved completely 1,000 years ago. It's irrefutable proof was given by Ibn al-Nadim that this religion and science are compatible. What's that irrefutable proof?
What is it?
He had a dream in which Aristotle himself said that they are.
What more do you want?
That ends the debate. I don't know why people are still, like, talking. It's been 1,000 years. It's like Aristotle himself said that.
Hmm.
It's just ridiculous. You can't convince people anymore. It's stupid.
I don't really see what the problem is, to be honest, because it's very easy. Like atheists will hang their hat on scientific discoveries to support their way of thinking, but
Mhm.
it's very easy to make the argument that all of this was created. All of this meaning evolution, where everything every scientific discovery you want to throw in there could just be the work of a grand creator, a higher power. So I don't really
I
understand
mean, yeah, the existence of a god is an assumption,
why.
right?
Right.
It's you cannot prove the existence of God objectively, and you cannot disprove God either. So it's like
Exactly.
it's beyond science. You should not never, like, compare people who believe in God and be like, oh, God is anti-science. God is not anti-science. It's like, um, it's just these are different fields.
Yeah.
fields of study. So there's an
But
interesting.
they're definitely, I don't think they're inherently exclusive at all.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yes.
I'm sure you've probably heard this from people of your father's generation and whatnot. Anytime I bring, anytime my dad discovers some new scientific discovery or just progress, technological progress, the first thing out of his mouth is, "Wow, what a wonderful life God has created." You know,
Yeah.
it was just easy to do it both ways.
Yeah. It's exactly, and you can like pin anything to God basically, and these are like two completely different fields, and they, you can say even if let's say evolution exists, well, God designed it that way. God made the rules that created evolution, and you can just go and go and go, do keep doing that. So it's like it's a completely different thing, like discussing God and discussing um, religion are completely and science are like completely different things. So there's a
Yeah,
question that you might enjoy.
go on.
Um, why, when we speak of the Islamic gunpowder empires, do we omit the big Alawi Sultanate of Morocco?
The Alawites, like Ismail.
Um, was it Ismail? The Alawites.
Alawites, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Why? Because they were nowhere near as prominent as the other three on any metric, economy,
Yeah, really.
military. No, dude, they weren't.
Well, militarily, Morocco was pretty good. After the fall of Al Andalus in like the 1500s and 1600s, Morocco
No,
was.
it wasn't. It actually wasn't. So it had a couple of a couple of episodes of grandeur, let's call it. So you had Sultan Ahmad, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, like from 1580s, 1590s. Um, and then you had Ismail, and just before him, Ismail's brother, 1660s all the way to the 1720s. But before the 1580s, it was it wasn't in a good state. The European powers, mainly Portugal and Spain, well, only Portugal and Spain, they were making inroads into Morocco, like we're talking actual colonialism. And it's only with the Battle of Qasar al Kabir in 1578, I want to
The
say,
Battle of the Three Kings.
Battle of the Three Kings, exactly, where the Portuguese king dies, and then 2 years later, Portugal gets subsumed within the Spanish Empire
Spanish.
as a result of not having any heirs or anything like that. No, so they were at the prey of European colonialism very early. They were honest. That's probably the first Islamic country that was at the prey of European colonialism. And then what was his name? Sorry, Sultan Ahmad, I think. He was a madman.
Mansour. You might
Al
no,
Mansur.
not
Wait, Ahmad al
Mansour
Mansur?
was not Mansour was not a madman. Mansour came to power after the Battle of the Three Kings. He was like a very very good king. He
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about.
yeah.
So before him, Morocco is not going through a good time. There isn't one imperial power. There's a couple of them. So, taking like a third of the country, another one takes like a quarter, and then the Portuguese have a bunch of coastal cities in the west and whatnot. And then Ahmad al Mansur comes, and everything's kind of fine. But then he dies, and everything is not fine. Morocco is going through a bunch of like basically civil wars and whatnot. And then it's only with Mulay Ismail's brother Rashid, I want to say, that things kind of stabilize a little bit. So no, no, no. Morocco definitely doesn't deserve to be in that
Hmm.
in that category.
Interesting. I don't know. Maybe I don't know that much about that region, or I just like know. But I thought that after Al Andalus, they were actually like pretty stable. They managed to stave off the Spanish and the Portuguese for quite a while, and so
So it's really weird. It's juxtaposed between two extremes, right? So
mhm.
when you have people like Ahmad al Mansur and Mulay Ismail, things are fairly stable, well, pretty stable to be honest, and they can They can resist European colonialism pretty well, but periods outside of that, not so much the case.
Thought, look who's here to meet you.
Who? Oh, your cat. What's his name
My
again?
boy, Greyjoy.
Dude, how much money do you spend on that cat? That cat is fat as hell. How well does it
Dude,
eat?
he's not fat. He's just chunky.
No, he's fat. He's
He's
probably
chunky.
put it up in front of the camera, like properly, the whole body.
Look at this
Dude,
boy.
that cat eats well, man. What the hell? Look at his face.
He's my
His
boy.
face
He's
is
my goodest
oval.
boy. Yeah, but he's actually he's going tomorrow. He's leaving.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very sad about that.
Where's he leaving?
Well, he's a
Wait,
foster. I'm taking care of him for a shelter,
oh, okay.
and he's gonna he's being adopted soon. So yeah, and so he leaves now.
So you're
and
giving him up, basically.
well, no, I wasn't. He wasn't like permanently mine. I was just taking care of him, to like basically because he was a stray.
Yeah.
So the animal shelter rescued him, and then they send the cat to foster so that they can get used to a home and like being with people and trusting people again. And so like he's been doing that with me, and now he's ready for adoption. So he's leaving
Are you
tomorrow.
sad?
I'm very sad, yeah, about him.
Why don't you just take him in? Why don't you adopt him?
Well, because at the moment I'm leaving for Pakistan for 3 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason that I cannot like adopt him right now. But when I come back, if I could, I would have adopted him when I came back from Pakistan. But he's like, the shelter is like, well, he's ready for adoption, so somebody has to adopt him now. And I don't have any friends here who are like willing to take care of him for me,
Okay.
because all of them have their own situations. So yeah, that's the reason that he goes. But
You
yeah,
can't take
it's,
him to Pakistan with you?
no, because it's gonna be, first of all, it's gonna be like difficult taking him, because it's like a 22-hour flight, and second, it's just gonna be chaos in Pakistan as well,
Okay.
because my brother's getting married, so there's gonna be like a lot of people coming in and out, and so it's gonna be very difficult to take care of him there.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is my boy.
Dude, it's an animal, man. Just let it take care of itself. Take it to Pakistan and just expose it to its primal context.
Dude, well, no, the thing is, there's like scientific research that because of us taking care of cats,
Yeah.
they haven't been using their brains all that much, and so they've become stupid. um, like
See,
evolutionarily, they've become
that's
more
not good,
stupid
man.
than wild cats. So that's a bit of, I mean, it's our fault, so
That's so bad.
um,
Human beings are so wild, bro.
I mean, yeah, true. It's so weird. There's this quote from community that human beings can relate to a pencil. You can give a pencil a name, and then you break it, and then you will feel a little bit sad on the inside. And he jokes that, he says that even cats don't celebrate shark. Even sharks don't celebrate Shark Week, but humans do. So
Hmm.
we're complicated. We're weird. Like he's leaving, and I'm feeling um I'm feeling like I did when I left Pakistan, my home in 2019 for the first time.
Right.
I'm feeling kind of like that because like it's somebody who's a part of your home is leaving. So yeah, that's, but it's for the better. He's going to a loving family. He's gonna be happy there. Um, so yeah.
But can I just ask, just real quick, final question on this topic? You knew that this was going to happen, right? Like he was
Yeah.
going to get taken away from you. So why did you do it, knowing that you're going to build a bond with this creature, and that bond would one day be ruptured? Why would you do that to yourself? I don't understand.
Yeah, but I wanted to, like, because he needed someone to take care of him for a while.
And that
Um,
person was you, yeah?
yeah, and I could help him because I volunteer at the shelter. So they had a shortage of fosters, and they were like, we need someone to take care of a cat, and I was like, okay, well, I can
Wait,
do
you
that.
volunteer at the shelter?
Yeah.
Oh. So do you like animals? Like you got a thing for animals?
thing implies that there's like weird things going on.
No, 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 no. Like
But
me,
yeah,
no, 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 no.
yes.
Definitely not. Definitely not. No, like
No, I'm
me
joking.
with animals, my relationship with animals is very functional. Like I always say, the only pets I will ever have are ones that I can eat. And I know it sounds funny. It doesn't mean I'm going to eat them. Well, maybe at the end. But yeah, it's very functional. I like chickens because they give you eggs. I like cows because they give you milk. The emotional attachment is not really there so much. So, but I know there are people out there like you who build emotional attachments to animals. So fair play, man. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. So you actually like animals, yeah, like that?
Mhm.
All animals or what? Like, is there any specifications?
There's I hate lizards.
Lizard, yeah, okay.
Absolutely hate those bastards. And ducks. I am in favor
You hate ducks? What's wrong with
of
you?
a duck
Why?
genocide. I'm in
Hey,
favor.
chill, chill. Ducks are halal, bro. What are you talking about? Ducks are
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. They're halal, so they should all be eaten and ended. They're a
Wait,
scourge
why?
of God.
That's a very strong position to hold. Can you tell me
I
why?
just I
What's
just
so bad
hate them.
about ducks?
I just hate them. They're assholes.
Like,
I'm sorry.
give me, like,
That's
what do
too
they
much.
do? What do they do?
Dude,
Dude,
it's not actually safe to talk about this on YouTube because of how evil they are, how many awful things they do. We cannot talk. Facebook will
give me
demonetize
two.
this.
Give me two. Give me two evil things they do.
So they have a very weird dick shape. We're gonna talk about duck penises today.
Okay,
Is that's it?
but who cares? Like,
Dude,
I'm not looking at ducks for their flipping their penises.
I don't know. Let me Google reasons to hate ducks.
So you don't actually have any reasons to hate ducks.
No, I do have many reasons, but I'm like looking for PG. Uh,
Now I like ducks, man. Ducks are cool. Any animal that you can eat is pretty much cool. Like me, I'll be honest, I don't hate pigeons. And I know a lot of people that live in certain, I don't know, urban settings, cities and whatnot, they hate pigeons. Growing up, people in London would always berate pigeons all the time. I don't hate pigeons. I think pigeons are pretty cool, to be honest.
I guess people hate pigeons for like the nuisance thing, you know,
Yeah.
that they poop on everything. Well, the thing is, okay, ducks are waterfowl, and waterfowl is generally jerks. Geese are notorious assholes. Um, Also, there's an R word that rhymes with ape, right?
Right. What about
They're
it?
very big into that. Ducks.
Okay, but you can't. Yeah, I get it. But like, you can't really judge them on the same kind of metrics as you. That's like primal
Exactly.
nature. That's
Exactly. But
primal.
I hate them. I hate them.
Yeah, but like that's a part of their way of life. You gotta respect their way of life almost. No,
Yeah, exactly. We gotta respect their way of life. We gotta respect their way of life by ending their way of life.
that's not a very liberal thing.
We gotta we gotta commit a genocide. We gotta train cats, genetically do something to them to
Hmm?
specifically hunt all the ducks. Just
Can I be
end them.
honest with you? I think cats are so overrated. They're so overrated.
Dude, they're badass. It's
Not
like a little
really,
tiger in your house.
especially not domesticated cats after what humans have done to them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Domestic,
That's true. They're not
domesticating them without.
badass.
Nah, man, they're just
Yeah,
fat slobs that use you.
yeah. It's like you have a friend at home.
But that friend can't speak to you. They can't really do much with you. So calling it a friend is a bit mad, don't you think?
You
Syawish?
you you haven't met my cat. He talks.
Yeah,
You can tell when he's mad. You can tell when he wants food, and he's actually very manipulative. The other day he was
you don't say.
I got him a cone because of
Yeah.
his eye thing, so he couldn't like like scratch his face, and
Yeah.
he went to my mom
Hmm.
and he tried to lick himself in front of her or scratch himself as well, and to show her that, oh, I can't do this, you gotta help me. He was like,
Mm.
he was showing her the limitations that I had put on him, and he was like, you gotta help me. So yeah, he's a very manipulative animal.
No, but you got to make sure you make the cat do stuff by itself,
Mhm.
self-sufficiency.
Yeah,
Don't do stuff for the cat, man. What the hell?
dude, the thing is, I mean, I can't let him out. But some people let their cats out and they do hunt. They hunt, they pork, they do anything that they have to do. Uh, but yeah,
See,
the only
that's gangster. See, I rate that. But having an animal fully domesticated, completely cut off from the wild primitive side, what are we doing, man? That's at
there's
that point,
there's
it's
a
like a
case,
Pokemon.
there's actually like a case to be made there,
Mm,
because I agree with you that they need to be hunting stuff, but cats are not local to this region, right? They were brought here by Europeans, and
mm.
they hunted some birds, some species of birds that, of course, didn't know about cats, into extinction.
Nice.
So when you let them out, they do stuff like that. They do, destroy ecology. So there's
Yeah,
also
but
that.
that's them getting in touch with who they really are, and that's fine.
Yeah, but it's our fault. Like, that bird species, it doesn't know about cats. We brought
See,
cats here. So it's
this is the
coming
problem
up
with human beings.
on
I talk
us.
about this with my friends sometimes. Consciousness is great. It makes life what it is, but there's certain real like drawdowns to consciousness. And one of them is just we're too mushy, man. We're too in our feels about everything. What the hell does that mean?
Dude, that's the cost you pay for a bigger brain. Emotions have been evolutionarily important. That's how we have survived.
I'm not
We're group
saying
animals.
yeah, of course they are, of course they are. I'm not saying completely get rid of emotions, but just like, time and a place for everything. Yeah?
Yeah. Okay, but okay, so let's move on to the questions. I have a very
Okay.
interesting one.
Go on.
If Uthman had not been assassinated, what were the chances of Ali becoming caliph? It's an interesting
Mm,
question.
that is a very interesting question.
And we
Uh,
got a similar. Sorry, we got a similar. Another question here that was similar. Somebody was asking about electoral system. Like, can you actually have an election to determine the caliph? Which I think is an interesting point. So let's talk about this.
okay. You go first.
I I think with the ascension of Uthman, um, a lot of Umayyads and a lot of relatives of Uthman came to power.
Yes.
And Uthman sort of started to create this. I think the word is like nepocracy, which is like, of relatives, an empire of relatives. The biggest problem with that would be that when power goes from Uthman, when Uthman passes away, let's say he passes away naturally in this timeline.
Hmm.
Um, who is this person? Okay, anyhow. So with the death of Uthman, let's say he passes away naturally. At this point, he has passed away, but the people that he put in power, like Muawiyah, are still there,
Yeah.
and they would resist. They would resist any kind of anyone coming to power who wasn't supportive of them, and Ali would certainly not be supportive of Muawiyah. So I
Hmm.
think at that point you would certainly have trouble. If, let's say, I mean, the real question is about Muawiyah, about Ali becoming caliph.
Hmm.
Um, I think that in that case, Ali becoming caliph is less likely. I
Mm.
think in that case, let's say that Uthman passes away, and then somebody has to come to the capital and start the process of succession. That likely would have been Muawiyah because of how much power Muawiyah had at that time. So Ali becoming caliph would be less likely. But let's say that he becomes caliph. I think at
Mm.
this point, there's no way that Muawiyah and Ali would not have clashed, because,
Mm.
like I said, Muawiyah was in power in Syria, and he wanted to make sure that everybody who holds to power wants the power to stay with them. And that's sort of the thing with like electoral systems. Um, let's say in modern democracies, what you have is the peaceful transfer of power. Let's use the US as an example. With like
Mhm.
one exception, it has usually been peaceful. When the
Mhm.
new government comes in, they want to remove all the people who were in power who were not related to, like, who are not loyal to them. And that's the problem with a democratic system. You have to have, if you have going from father to son, you know that, the vassals know that certain things are safe. But if somebody randomly different, comes in power, the instability can lead to problems as well. And in the olden days, that was quite a bit of a problem. And I think that in this case, um, if Ali comes to power, no matter how he comes to power, there's gonna be clash between him and Ali and Muawiyah. Sorry.
Yeah, I pretty much echo your sentiment. The only thing that I would add to what you just said was we have to bear in mind that Usman Radullah was wasn't he like 80 years old when he was
He
assassinated?
was he wasn't 80. Was he 80?
I don't think. I
I
think it
think
was
he
80.
was.
Maybe he was even more than 80, to be honest. I think it was like 82.
According to Wikipedia, he was 83. Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Really?
I mean, even naturally, if he wasn't assassinated, I don't think he had very much left in the gas tank,
Mhm.
so to speak. So it would have just kind of happened within a few years of that anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, the whole nepotism issue with Usman is actually one of the reasons I don't do pre 661 history, because I know Muslims are real touchy about the Sahaba, not all the Sahabas, but the four Rashidun Khalifs and the Prophet himself and that generation. Um, but it's very real. Like there is a lot of evidence to show that there was quite a fair amount of nepotism going on at that point. Now, there is an argument to be made. You can, like, from which angle? What was the rationale for that nepotism? Was it just straight up like bad wickedness, or we know that Usman's family, the Bani Umayyah, they had been in prominent administrative and commercial positions for over a century, probably a few centuries. So you can make the argument, if you were to do the devil's advocate thing for them, that they were well placed. And you can say whatever you want about Mawiya. And I always forget, was it Marwan? Who ruled for like 2 years, 682 to like 684?
That was Yazid.
No. Yazid came straight after Muawiyah, like
That would
678.
be Marwan then. Marwan was in 685.
Okay, the super old one, yeah, who only ruled
Yeah.
for a little bit, but he established a lot of the foundations for the Umayyads. When you look at their the administrative track record of Muawiyah and Marwan, it kind of does lend credence to that argument that they were very capable administrators. Um, but regardless, there was a whole heap of nepotism going on in that time period.
Yeah. But also, like, that's sort of where we come into a clash between like morality and what has to be done.
Yeah.
In a pre-telegram world, you have to, you have this huge empire, and you want people who are capable and people who are loyal to you.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is ruling in Tunisia and you're in Medina,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that that person is doing what you want them to do,
Yeah.
or at least what's best for you and the caliphate. And so in that case, you do see that, yeah, nepotism was kind of important. And like with the caliphs before Uthman, like Abu Bakr and Umar, what you have is not rule. What you have is conquest, right? They have conquest. They have armies. The armies are doing their thing. They're conquering things. Good. All that is going. Like with Uthman, is the first time that ruling comes into play, and so he needs people who are loyal to him. And so he installs
Hmm.
his relatives. Like that's like, if you look at it from the point of view of government, it was
Hmm.
it was something that you have to do. You have to put your relatives in power. But yeah. other than that, like,
And then on top of that, if we branch out of nepotism and talk about corruption, I've always said this. Obviously, corruption is a bad thing, but corruption in the not even in the Islamic, yeah, it's in the Islamic world, but specifically in the Middle East, it looks a little different. Like the end result is obviously the same regardless of the milieu, the environment, but in the Middle East, it's not so strange to do business with your family,
mhm.
right? These familial ties, they're much more stronger in that part of the world. So sometimes it's kind of tough to see the jump between, oh, I'm just doing something which is an outgrowth of my culture, like the closeness of relations between cousins, for example, to, oh no, this is just straight up corruption, right? I'm not basing this on merit so much. So it's a little tougher to trace. The end result is corruption. Corruption is corruption, regardless of where you go. But it's kind of tough to trace where it goes from, oh, this is just like I said, an outgrowth of my culture, to this is just straight up corruption.
Yeah, with especially with Arabs,
Mm.
kinship was everything.
Yeah.
We can see even traces of that in Islam. As much as Islam wanted to remove these familial ties and unite people in a community, we can still see certain things about that. Like, for example, there's the concept that you cannot marry someone 3 months after divorce,
Hmm.
for 3 months, and that's essentially to make sure that if the woman with is about to have a child, then we know who the father is completely. So the kinship thing is set. And I even read like that, akika, like, when a baby is born, then we do that,
Hmm.
feast thingy.
Hmm.
That was a pre-Islamic tradition,
Mm.
and it basically meant that you accept this child as your own. You accept that this is your child. You're telling the world that, yeah, this is my child.
Hmm.
So that was like the kinship part. So from like all of that cultural stuff, what Uthman did was not um, strange or not wrong. But then we come to like the Islamic morality, and we can say that, oh, this isn't this. But yeah, when you're the king, you have to make decisions that aren't always moral. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, we had a comment that, oh yeah, this one. What do you think about the Arab identity, identity? I guess they meant spreading in Africa, but not Iran and India and Southeast Asia. So yeah,
Um, wh-
first of all,
what
tell
do you
me,
mean Arab identity spreading in Africa? Like what? Sudan
the
and
Sudan,
Somalia?
the Somali, yeah, they consider themselves Arabs. They speak Arabic,
Right.
whereas the Arabic language never spread to Afghanistan or Persia or Pakistan, India. Which
Right. Right.
okay,
Right. They did. Sorry, you were gonna say something. My bad.
sorry. Okay, so about the Arab identity, because much of like Somalia and Sudan was conquered directly by Arabs who spoke Arabic. Um,
Hmm.
you can imagine that they propagated their culture to these lands. But Iran, well, Iran is a different case, but let's talk about Afghanistan and India and Central Asia. These places were conquered by Persian speaking or Turkic speaking Muslims.
Hmm.
So Arabic language was not propagated there. So that's part of the reason that Arabic culture is not found. But if you've ever been to Pakistan, or if you talk to Pakistan, there are quite a few Pakistanis who, while they don't like admonish the is admonish the right word, they don't like adopt the culture of the Arabs. They do adopt an identity. There are people who claim to be Sayyid and who take huge pride in the fact that they claim, they claim descent from the prophet. You have all kinds of people who want to be Arab. There are even like people who like use the bin thing,
Yeah.
like X bin X.
Even
um
the surname Quraishi. Isn't that one of
Yeah.
the most popular surnames in
Yes.
Pakistan?
Yes. Exactly. That's found there. Hashimi is a common surname as well. So the
Mhm.
Arab culture didn't spread, but Arab um, wannabe Arabism, I guess, did spread. And I think it didn't spread in Persia because, of course, Persia was Persia. It had a
Mhm.
much stronger cultural identity than Arabia did. So
Mhm.
they were not able to displace that as compared to Somalia.
I would totally agree with you. I think it's a combination of there already being a very established cultural identity, at least in Iran and probably parts of India as well. And then places like Afghanistan, as we've seen in more modern history, it's really tough to impose yourself on those people. Geography has a part to play in it. They can be very isolated if they live up in the mountains and whatnot. Even the Islamization of Afghanistan took like over 300 years, almost 400 or 500 years. So that also plays a part in it. Like how relatively seamless was the conquest of that part of the world. Um, so yeah,
Mhm. Do you
but I
guys
would
have?
also I wouldn't get too excited about this argument because I understand like Sudan and Somalia being part of the Arab world is a different level than, say, for example, the in Afghanistan Pashto, the language Pashto, the script we use is the basically the Arabic script. I know those
Mhm.
are on two different levels of identification, but cultures spread culture spread, full stop. And just because we're not aware of it, that doesn't mean they don't spread, right? Like
Mhm.
this was one of the things that really drew me into history was in my undergraduate, my BA, my bachelor's. I tried to see how much Western Europe was impacted by Al-Andalus, right?
Mhm.
And if you tell Western Europeans you've been influenced by Al-Andalus in this regard, that regard, this regard, they'll tell you, no, what the hell are you talking about? There was a clash of civilization going on where we viewed them as the other for over 1,000 years, but there was quite a lot of inspiration and influence taking place in that
Yeah.
regard. Um,
Mhm.
so it's not always overt, is my point. Just culture being spread.
Yeah. Like try telling Indians that their symbol of the three-headed lion
Mm,
that came from Iran. Try telling them that they're gonna be like, "Oh no,
I didn't know
this
that.
came
Nice.
from God or something." Yeah, it came
Yeah.
from the Sassanids. So okay, about what I was gonna say is like in Pakistan we have a lot of not Shia wannabes, but like Arab wannabes. Is that also common in Afghanistan?
No, not so much. We have Sayyids. They are nowhere near as prominent as I would say in Pakistan or in India. I feel like in Pakistan or India, there's probably tens of millions of people um, that apparently are descendants of the Prophet in some way or another. In
Mhm.
Afghanistan, you have them too, but it's a much smaller population, much, much smaller population. And there isn't that much of a. Afghans are quite proud people, man.
Mhm.
Um, so not so much.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let me check if there was another question on Instagram that I want to take. You see, it's a bunch of those. Is Islam compatible with the West, or is our religion and science compatible? I hate these questions.
Why? I love those big philosophical questions. Those two we've spoken about a decent amount, but
Yeah, but they're like such basic ass questions. Like, is Islam compatible with the West? First of all, you define the West, and then you might even have to define Islam, and you just go into.
it's not that difficult to do either of those two things. What are you talking about? Define the West.
You're gonna have to define too many things.
It, not really, man. The West is
These
the
are
West. What do you mean?
what
What's the
is
West?
the West?
Huh?
What is the West? The
So
West
it's
of
a
what?
okay. I'm gonna tell you, tranquilo. Okay. So first of all, geographically, I would say it is Western Europe and its extension, being Canada, America, Australia. We'll throw New Zealand in there.
Mhm.
Um,
Not
secondly,
South America.
say that again.
Not South America. Not the Latinos.
No,
Mm.
no. Latin America is not the West. Definitely not. Uh, I can see why you'd feel inclined to say that, but no. They're Mesoamerican, Native Indian, Aztec, Mayan, Incan, whatever aspects of their past are too strong in their consciousness for it to be considered part of the West, I
Mm.
think. Um, Secondly, it's like a not a way of thinking. It's like a historical heritage, right? A historical heritage. It's areas that were dominated and ruled by the Roman Empire, who left them a bunch of institutions. Christianity comes and plays a massive role in it, and then moving forward into like the early modern, more yeah, the early modern, the early modern period, the industrial period. They have certain things that they all went through industrialization at a roughly similar time period. Their relationship with religion and secularism and things, all of those things kind of happened within 100, 150 years of each other country. Um, so yeah, the West. What else could the West be other than what it is?
Okay. Now define Islam. What is Islam? When we say is Islam compatible with the West, what is Islam in that sentence?
Okay, so good question. Um, First of all, I think people get stuck up on, how do I say this? Broad arguments and then more specific ones, right? It's the same thing with the West and Islam. Islam as a broad description is one thing, right? It doesn't matter if we're talking about Western Africa all the way to Southeast Asia, right? But then if we want to elaborate further, then obviously you investigate the fact that they all have different cultural heritages prior to Islam, different geographies, which is going to subsequently have an impact, different mentalities, psyches of people. And then those create more interesting, more specific fissures or unique aspects, so to speak, right? But Islam, as like a broad, the Islamic world, as a broad concept, it's just something that just emanates from the religion, from the theology of what Islam is and how that impacts society. The rules given to you by Islam, for example, you are not real basic. You are not allowed to eat pig. There we go. Boom. That's one thing. Um, Charity, zakat, right? That's another thing. All of these things are going to shape and mold your society and your culture, thereby creating some degree of uniformity all the way from the flipping Philippines to Northwest Africa. I've noticed, I'm going to be honest, like in my own personal life, get along. I can get along with anybody, but I do feel that degree of familiarity with another Muslim, regardless of where in the world they're from, right? Like if they're from Indonesia, because they're Muslim and I had a Muslim upbringing, I understand like there's going to be to a large degree, a shared world view, right? And this is one thing I think with this whole subjectivist argument being real popular in society and then flipping academia, people get too excited about the differences between Indonesian Islam and Iranian Islam. It's like, yes, there are, and it's very, very interesting, but it's nowhere near as big of a deal as you're making it. You can't say, oh, Indonesian Islam is completely different from Syrian Islam. No, it's not. It's not. Like on a broad level, it's the same thing. Okay. And the big attributes of a society, the big traits, descriptions of a society, they are molded by those things. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't completely agree with it, but it makes sense. Now, are Islam and the West compatible?
What today?
Today, yeah. I mean, I assume the question means today, so
No, no, not so much.
why is that?
It's mainly, well, it's developments on both sides, but it's mainly as a result of developments that have taken place in the West. Um, Grand societal developments over the course of 200 years. Um, we're talking about things like secularism. Capitalism is a massive one. Is a massive one. Not just capitalism in and of itself, but the way the knock-on effect that capitalism has on loads of other aspects: family, religion, social cohesion, all of those kind of things. I think if you were to ask me this question in like the 16 or 1700s, I would have a lot less trouble saying, yeah, they could be compatible. But nowadays, not so much. And I think the primary reason is the absence of religion in Western society. I think.
There was a third definition actually. What does compatible mean?
First of all, I'm terrible, by the way. Don't insult my intelligence. I'm just terrible with definitions. Let me just get Google's
No,
help. What is
that's the thing.
compatible?
What does compatible mean? Does it simply mean can a Muslim live in Germany or in England or in Canada? Or does it mean that we can somehow bring Sharia law here? What does it mean to say that are
Okay,
these
it
two
definitely.
compatible?
So let's start with the extremes. It definitely doesn't mean you can bring Sharia here.
Mhm.
A state in which two things are able to exist or occur together without problems or conflict. Interesting. See, but this is a great question because it gets more complicated the longer you spend on it. Because obviously, both of us we're Muslims in the West, and I think we're doing okay. Like not just on a material level, but just in every aspect of life. So I guess from that angle, it is compatible. But
So
I gotta
how you
go on.
said that it's not compatible, then how is it not compatible?
Why did I say it's not compatible? Let me see. What was my reference point? What was I thinking about? Uh, I don't know. Why did I say that? Actually, 1 second.
See, that's what I was saying, that when you
As like
come
a
to defining
civilization.
things.
Yeah, but this is why these questions are interesting.
Mhm.
You'll catch yourself in
No,
the middle
this
of.
is not why these questions are interesting, because they don't mean anything. This question doesn't mean anything.
What do you mean?
It doesn't mean anything. Or is Islam compatible with the West? What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. Let's assume that it means, can a large number of Muslims live in the West? We can.
Mm-hmm.
We are. Already 5% of Germany is Turks, and I've honestly I've seen more problems between like Germans themselves than I've seen between Turks and Germans. So, but that's anecdotal evidence from my own perspective. But does it mean that if it simply means, can a large number of practicing Muslims live in the West? Certainly can. There are many
No,
countries
but that's not okay. I just realized that's not a good enough definition, or
of
that's not a good enough
compatible
metric. Huh?
of compatible.
Yeah, no, man, because human beings are complicated. Life is complicated. Something might not be compatible with you, but if there is material possibilities available in the West, if you're able to make more money, for example, human beings are tough, adaptable creatures. You can make something happen in that regard. But I'm talking
That's
about
what I'm
like
saying.
a system of living, like a way of life, like a world view, right? So, for example, when Muslims come to the West, Germany, UK, US, whatever, obviously, you're supposed to adapt to your new environment. You can't just flip and
What
bring.
exactly? What exactly do you adapt to? Not using a water to wash yourself. That's like the most difficult thing to adapt to be honest.
No, there's ways around that one, but just flip them by a day or something.
And
Um,
we're civilizing white people now. We're teaching them that you got to use that, and the usage has increased. So I'm proud of that we're
I
doing
know,
that.
same,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like
No, but I'm
nice.
talking about, say, for example, um, okay, sexuality, right?
Hmm.
Muslims are very, or supposed to be very clean with depictions of things like that as a result of Islamic influences. But you have movies, I don't know, you have adverts in which would make a Muslim uncomfortable, right? Like, for example, selling bikinis or something like that, or even fashion. It's not even just bikinis; it's loads of fashion nowadays, to be honest. So, in that regard, if you ask the Muslim, "Yo, like, do you think that should be there?" A lot of them, I'm pretty sure, would say no, but they got to just adapt with the new environment that they're in. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or another one. This just came straight to my head. I don't know how good of an example it is, but loads of Western people, they find it normal culturally to, when their parents get old, just put them in an old care home or something, old people care home, whatever the hell it's called. Whereas a lot of Muslims, that wouldn't necessarily be the case. And I get it, that might not necessarily be from Islam, it might be from the culture that they are from. Um, but things like that, uh, food, pork is damn near venerated in the West. I remember the first
yeah,
day I
but
was at school at lunchtime, there was a kid right next to me. I'll never forget his name, Jack. Uh, he was eating a ham sandwich. I looked at this guy like, oh my God, you are going straight to hell. That smells so bad. I can't believe you're eating that. But what am I going to do? Flip every person that eats pig in the face? No. So I just be quiet and just move on with my life. But if you gave Muslims that choice, they would most likely not have that in their society. So in that regard, it is incompatible. Just because there is people are being quiet about it, that doesn't mean it's necessarily compatible. I don't think.
I mean that doesn't change. Does that change compatibility? I mean, compatibility, as you defined it according to Google, is simply the
Yeah.
ability to live together. And I've not seen any riots happening
No, but you got
because
to
of
be careful with that. You got to be careful with that because the number one attribute of a human being, forget prior to us even developing consciousness, prior to us even developing language, the number one attribute of human beings is adaptability. So if you take that argument to its logical endpoint and you want to be real, like, harsh about it, or real purist about it rather, then we'd be compatible with Mars. We'd figure out a way to live on Jupiter if we just.
Yeah. So what exactly does it mean? Does the question, is Islam compatible with the West, mean? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean anything.
Way
It's
of
a
life.
stupid
No, no, no. I
question.
see. Okay, nice. See, this is why I like the fact we're talking about it. We're getting more and more focused the more we talk about it. I think it's to do with way of life. It's like, yeah, a system of living, way of life.
Are they not compatible? Are there not Muslims living here very religiously,
Mm.
while there are people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum? You often do even find uh, like white girls who are dressed very westernly, friends
Yeah.
with girls who wear hijabs.
Right. But I think a large degree of that comes from compromise and just being realistic and pragmatic.
That exactly is what compatibility is. You have to adapt. You have to compromise. You have to like give things
Oh, but
up
see, I
to live
wish, I
together.
wish we just went through this.
And
You're being a purist. Don't be a purist, because if you're a purist, then there's no argument here. There's no debate here
what
at
I'm
all.
saying, ultimately, what I'm saying is that the question, is Islam compatible with the West, is
Yeah,
pointless. It doesn't mean anything.
it's pointless because you're coming at it from a purist point of view. right? And don't do that. That's very unambitious, unintellectual of you.
Yeah, no, the
Okay.
thing is that it's you're right that there are certain parts of Islam that give us a perspective that we don't like about things here, right? But
Right.
then again, there are things back home that offend us too, you know.
Yeah, but it's not to the same degree, man. It's not to the same degree. Hindus and Muslims,
It's you
Hindus
gotta
and
admit
Muslims
that it's a
have figured
pointless
out.
question. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it's not. Hindus and Muslims have figured out a way to live together, right?
And yet
Because
you can see what's happening in India.
just one sec. Okay, no, don't throw sloppy things out there. We'll talk about that in a second. No, Hindus and Muslims have figured out a way to live together because human beings are very good at adaptability, blah, blah, blah. But there's no way Islam and Hinduism are compatible.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
That one
way.
actually I might even agree with.
Well, there you go. I wonder why you agree with that one. They're not flipping compatible, but humans figure out a way to make things happen because life, it's just in the modern period with a lot of the dangers that human beings have been under forever have been alleviated, namely in the shape of diseases and famines and stuff like that, and us having a heightened standard of living and just being indoors and whatnot. We have too much time to think about these things, so we think everything is rosy daisy and whatnot. Anything like they can adapt to anything. Like right now, if you ask a person, hey, in like 30 years time, I've been to the future. In 30 years time, there's a World War III. It's a post-apocalyptic world. Most people would just would damn near have a flipping panic attack. But I guarantee you, once you're in that environment, I'm not saying it's going to be all nice and it's going to be the same standard of living as you're having right now, but you would figure out a way to move forward, right? That's why do not use the purest argument.
So your point is that humans adapt, right?
Yeah, that's all we do. It's literally the only thing
that's
we do.
exactly what compatibility is.
How many times
Incompatible would be if Muslims simply
Okay,
cannot live
then
here.
come up with a new word. You're being stuck on semantics a little bit too much, man.
That's what the guy said. I'm not. Is Islam compatible with the West? Like, look at
So
this
I need
guy.
I need to synonym compatibility now, huh?
Literally.
Is that what I need to do for
I
you?
don't know. The thing is, that's my point. That to say are these two people compatible, people groups compatible? When you have two people, simply two human beings, you ask, are they compatible? We like talk about that in relationship, marriage, and stuff like that. It makes sense there. But to say, are these two people groups compatible? That's so stupid because it ultimately comes down to, are these people willing to compromise and tolerate each other or not? Are these two people groups? Because
No, because
ultimately
it
that's what it
has
comes
over
down
a
to.
long. Listen, Baijan, listen. Over a long enough period of time, okay? And don't ask me what that long enough period of time is. Those incompatibilities, okay, will rise to the surface. Okay, there are certain things that could happen, which when they happen, those incompatibilities will rise to the surface and it will be very obvious and it will be
Like
it will
what?
be a big deal.
Like what? What would be a big
The
deal?
most obvious one. Okay, no, brother, you said it as if like you've caught me out. This is what I wanted. Okay, I'm teasing you into
No,
the
no,
trap.
I'm not. I'm just.
The number one thing, and you're gonna love this as a flippant Marxist, is just like financial well-being, not of an individual. Well, I guess an individual too, but of a society. I believe that when there are more and more economic problems in a community, that incompatibility will rise to the surface in a very ugly way.
No.
Okay, that's one.
The economic downturn. Sorry, I'm sorry. I thought you were done speaking. Sorry.
No, I'm done. I thought you had nothing to say. I've got another thing, but far after gone.
What you're saying is that when economic downturn happens, that those incompatibilities will rise up to the surface. That's not true. What usually happens with economic downturn is that people look for someone else to blame, someone who is not me.
Right.
I'm gonna find someone, and this I'm just gonna blame them. That's not a matter of
That's
incompatibility. That's not a matter of
wait.
incompatibility. Two
What is?
people, two people groups who have lived together for 1,000 years can blame
Yeah.
each other. It doesn't matter. If that's the case, then you basically just need homogenous societies, because any society,
Well, that would
anywhere
help.
where people,
That would help.
any that is an idealized case. We can't have
I
that,
know. I know. I know.
unfortunately. So that's
Yes.
that's my point. It doesn't mean anything to say Islam is compatible with the West or Islam is not compatible with the West. It doesn't mean anything. That's what I'm saying.
Syawish, it does. It does. Okay.
No, it
Because
doesn't.
even when you scapegoat, who do you scapegoat? Okay. So let's talk about the biggest scapegoats in history, Yahuds, yeah, Jews. Okay. Why? Why do you scapegoat? Why did Western Europe forget the Muslims? Yeah, because we didn't even do this anywhere near as much as Western Europe. Why did they scapegoat them?
Because they were different,
Very
religiously
good.
different.
Stop. No, no,
There
no, no,
was.
no. Stop. We're gonna do it bit by bit, okay? Sentence by sentence. How are they different?
Are you asking me, or are you gonna?
No, it's a question.
How are they different? First of all, religious practices.
Okay.
Simple as that. From Christians, religious perspective, but also there was a hatred among Christians for Jews that was sort of built into their religion because they believed that it was the Jews who killed Jesus.
Right.
So there was also that, but then there was also the fact that the simple fact that there are a different group of people, and that's what
What does
always
different
happens.
mean?
Different means that they're different. They have a different
You
background.
know,
They have
you're
different
basically making my
history,
argument for
religion,
me.
culture.
You're making my argument
What I'm
for me.
saying, if you come down to that, then there's no one who's compatible with each other.
That's not true. It's not exactly like that. Okay. The Arab world, say for example, is a big part of the world. It's a big identity. Yeah. Big region. Would you have, if something happens, say for example in Syria, yeah, and you have Lebanese or Jordanian migrants there, would the likelihood of them scapegoating Jordanians or Lebanese be as high as them scapegoating, for whatever reasons, flipping Mexicans living there? Who would get scapegoated first?
That doesn't mean that
Most likely,
Lebanese,
most likely.
the migrants,
No, but
the
which migrants?
Lebanese,
Don't
the
do that. Which
Lebanese,
migrants? Which
the
migrants?
Lebanese, the Lebanese.
You think the Lebanese will get scapegoated before the Mexicans? Yeah.
Depends on like the numbers. If there's like a lot of Mexicans, then sure.
Okay,
But
no, a good amount, a good, roughly similar amount, roughly similar positions in society, say socioeconomic status, etc. Go on.
it really depends on the reputation of both societies. I would say probably Mexicans because they're more outsiders.
That's see, I wish that's my point. That's
That
literally
doesn't mean
my
that they're
point.
not compatible.
But
If you
why did
come
they?
down, if you come down to the simple matter of blame, let's say that today we're blaming the Jews. The
Yeah.
Jews are gone. Then we're gonna blame another minority and another minority and another minority, and just, and ultimately what we're gonna come down to is hatred between two people who support different candidates for president or king or whatever, because human beings are different. That's what it is. You cannot have a completely homogenous. We are human beings who have fought over
Okay, but I wish
over
there's a
like.
difference. There's a difference. See, I wish. Listen, sorry, sorry to cut you off. It's just you made an interesting point, and I want to kind of remember it. There's a difference between the the differences between a Syrian Arab, an Iraqi Arab, and then a Syrian Arab and a Mexican Latino. Okay, there's levels. There's levels. Okay, of
It doesn't
course,
mean
a
it's
Syrian
it's
Arab.
not it's not a matter of compatibility. Like I said, blaming someone is a different thing than being compatible.
No, but they feed into each other. Don't you see how it happens?
No,
Like it's
no.
not like two random things. I'm not saying blaming someone is 100% of the time going to be a logical outgrowth of incompatibility, but you can clearly see the relationship between them. Clearly. It's so funny that when you elaborate, you're arguing for my point, But then when you're just making those broad statements, you're saying no, no, no. Like,
No,
what's
no, no.
going on?
That's what. See, the thing is, incompatibility means a totally different thing. Scapegoating is a totally different thing. Let me give you an example.
Go on, my friend.
Americans, for about a century, have called Asians the model minority. They've always thought of them as model minority. They're very good people. They're very good people.
Yeah.
This and this and that. But then COVID came around and we
Yeah.
see crimes against Asians increase. Does that mean that Asians are incompatible with and also let's come to compatibility. Let's come to the very point that you made before.
Okay.
In the US, who gets blamed for these things? What migrant group gets blamed for economic conditions? Is it the Mexicans who come from right next door, or is it the Arabs who come from the Middle East?
I don't know. I don't know.
The Mexicans do. The Mexicans.
Mexican?
The Mexicans are the biggest, like one of the biggest talking point, like immigration and undocumented immigrants and all that. It's not the Arabs. The Arabs, like no one really actually cares about the Arabs until like a terrorist attack happens.
Okay, but then what happened when the terrorist attacks happened?
That's a different story. We're just talking about economic downturn. We're not talking about terrorism.
Right.
My point is, it doesn't mean anything to be compatible. So let's move on to the next question.
It means a lot. It has a lot of practical ramifications. Syawish, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but saying Islam and West are they compatible or are they incompatible is a stupid question. It doesn't mean anything.
It means a lot. It
No,
means a
doesn't mean
lot.
anything. It doesn't mean anything.
Especially
It doesn't
nowadays.
mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, let me give you one final. The West has something called secularism, right?
Okay.
The Quran says, "Lakum dinukum waliyadin."
Mean-
To you, your religion; to me, mine. That sounds
Okay.
pretty compatible, no?
Yeah, kind of, but no, not really.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. This is: does a more stable Ghurid dynasty after you know about this time period, right?
Yeah.
So do you agree? Do you think that a more stable Ghurid dynasty after Muhammad of Ghor have a better chance against the Mongol than the Khwarezmians?
I think the only thing that would differentiate the Ghurids from the Khwarezmians is probably terrain, to be honest with you, right? And I know the Khwarezmians, just before the Mongols came, they essentially took over most of the central heartland of the Ghurid Empire in central/western Afghanistan. But yeah, that would be the only difference, because besides that, the makeup of their armies, the makeup of their state, it was all pretty similar, to be honest with you. Came from a Perso-Turkic tradition. So the only thing that I would think would make a difference would be the mountains of Afghanistan, right? But then again, the Ghurids didn't really utilize those things like most armies in that time period. It wasn't like the Mujahideen in the 1980s where they utilized guerrilla warfare or anything. They liked to have battles on open land. So I don't see how much more different it would be. The only thing is if the Ghurids went, you know what, these Mongols are crazy, we need to start using the terrain, and they used some early example of guerrilla warfare, then it could be quite interesting, to be honest. But besides that, no, because the Mongols had a couple of really incredible things going from them. Obviously, leadership and things like that. But a lot of people don't give their military technology enough credit, right? With mangonels, and they didn't have trebuchets, but mangonels, and there was another thing quite similar to a mangonel for sieges and whatnot. And then also the whole, I know the Ghurids and the Khwarezmians came from a similar kind of cultural background, military cultural background with the horse archers, but the Mongols just took that to a whole new level. So I don't really think it would have made too big of a difference.
Yeah, and also, how do you get a more stable dynasty after Muhammad of Ghor? It's collapsed after him. And like, if you say a stable Ghurid dynasty, then sure. But, that's like any stable dynasty, it would at least have a better chance than an unstable dynasty, right? But, what does it actually, what difference would it make in real life is I think the more important question. How would you stabilize the dynasty after Muhammad of Ghor?
Yeah. Can I choose the next question?
Dude, of course,
Sarah?
you can always choose the next question.
It's the most recent one, Baklava Boy. Real quick, do you
I was
consider
actually
that?
gonna choose this.
Okay. I think it's an interesting one. Me personally, I definitely consider them Afghan empires. Okay. Now, what do I want to say about this? So first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. Afghan throughout history, up until like the flipping starting from the 1930s, but largely from the 1960s onwards, the word Afghan was synonymous with Pashtun, right? It didn't mean what it means now, right? And a lot of people, especially within Afghanistan, who are not necessarily who are fighting against Pashtun supremacy within the country, they use that as an argument to kind of undermine the Afghan identity, essentially. But what they don't realize is you do understand that most countries on the planet had to do this exact same thing, right? Including European countries. Now, Europe is a little bit different because their whole understanding of nation states started a lot earlier than in our part of the world, in the Islamic world. But if you just look next door to Iran, they did the exact same process. They internalized and appropriated um, a cultural identity that essentially spanned all the way from Eastern Turkey all the way to Kashmir and damn near verging on the Bengal, and they just made it their own, right? Iran didn't historically Iran didn't necessarily mean what it means now. What Iran is now, not entirely, but the heartland of it was referred to as Fars, Persia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even other aspects of their historical heritage that they take pride in now, that they've appropriated that when it, for example, would have happened outside of their current borders. Like when I was doing my PhD, pre-Islamic Afghan historiography, well, modern historiography of pre-Islamic Afghanistan, I realized that a good amount of the stories that happened in the Shahnama, Ferdowsi Shahnama, actually
Mm-hmm.
took place in what is today Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? But like Iranian nationalists in the early 20th century, they don't care about that. So they just quickly appropriate all of that to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just me, because my answer to this question is yes. I'm just doing literally what everybody else is doing. For example, Salahuddin is seen as an Arab hero. He was an Arab
Yeah. It was
ethnically.
exactly that.
Yeah, he was Kurdish. He was
Mm-hmm.
Kurdish.
Yeah.
So everybody does this. I would definitely consider them Afghan empires. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't consider them Afghan empires. But that actually brings me to an interesting point.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
because the country you're from, it doesn't really have much of a history. You know what I mean?
Dude, we are the oldest civilization on Earth.
No, you're not. Don't say that.
We
You're
are we are such
second or third.
trailblazers. We are such trailblazers.
No, you're
People
third.
haven't been able to really
You're third.
whatever. It's like we are ties. The Egyptians, we were brothers. We
No,
came
Egyptians
together.
aren't even third. Egyptians are like fifth, I think, or fourth.
It's still we still got civilization before Afghanistan. Afghanistan didn't get its civilization till the year 2100 CE.
CE. Oh, you mean now? Get the hell out of here.
Yes,
We still don't have
2100. Exactly. That's why I'm saying 2100 CE.
Right. No, but you guys are the masters at that whole historical appropriation stuff, man. You take it. You guys are greedy with it. Our one makes sense, right? Because the Ghaznavid and the Ghurids, their imperial capitals were in modern day Afghanistan. But you
Okay.
guys just go crazy. First of all, you take it from the Arabs all the way in Western Asia with your surnames, with the half of Pakistan's population apparently being Sayyids. Then you take the whole Turkic element, Babar, Genghis, all of that. You just take it from everybody, man. You guys are greedy with it. You got to be
Well,
more selective. Because
you're
the And this is actually kind of a serious point. Sorry. 1 second. We were bantering, even though I was saying it with a straight face. But there's actually an art to historical appropriation, right? Obviously, it's all ridiculous. Like, there was no Afghanistan in the 11th and the 12th or 13th centuries, right? So I am logical enough to understand that referring to the Ghaznavids and the Ghurids as Afghan is kind of ridiculous. But if everybody wants to be ridiculous, I'll be ridiculous too. But there's got to be, like, the degree to which you're ridiculous has to respect human intelligence at least a little bit, okay? Even though I'm calling all of the facade ridiculous. What you guys do is just straight up crazy, man.
Okay, let's come back to that. Okay. You said that you consider the Ghaznavids and the Ghurids Afghans because their capitals were in Afghanistan, right? What country is Lahore in?
I gotta double check, but I'm pretty sure it's in Pakistan, no?
Yeah, and who kept Lahore as their capital? The Mughals, the Sikh Khalsa Empire did.
Okay, but then see again, what was it, like 15 years, 16 years?
Does it matter? Does it matter?
Of course it matters. What are you talking about?
You're changing the rules. You're changing the rules. You said because they're capital. And Lahore, you know, how much did the Mughals contribute to Lahore? How much did Ranjit Singh contribute to Lahore? And then we come to Peshawar, you know.
Okay, but where it was born is very important as well too.
Come on, you're changing the rules now. So why don't you give me the criteria?
As I go along, there's a difference.
If the birthplace is important, then the Indus Valley civilization was born in the Indus Valley civilization. Valley.
Yeah, you have complete rights.
We have that.
You have complete rights to appropriate.
And the Mughal Empire, it was born in Kabul. Then it would be Afghan as well.
Yeah, but it wasn't really an empire at that point. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, so you can just make up rules as much as you want. No, I have a new rule. If I don't like an empire, it's Afghan. If I like an empire, it's not Afghan.
Okay, but that's not a respectable position. You can have that.
Who decides respectability?
Common sense.
Whose common sense? Your common sense or my common sense?
No, it's common. That's not
my common sense of wearing a hat is very stupid indoors.
Say that again.
According to my common sense, wearing a hat indoors is very stupid.
What, all the time?
Yourself from the sun.
Even if you're having a quote unquote bad hair day.
Yes,
but that's not
own your bad hair. Your bad hair.
No, but then
bad hair. Be a man.
No. But then I would say to you, Syawish, you need to expand your mind a little bit and get a little smarter and read a little bit more and think a little better.
Read what? Read what? Think what?
Just better books, man.
See, that's the point.
So that you
what better book? What book is better than The Capital by Karl Marx?
Say that again. Everything.
Okay. Yeah, I really thought you were gonna say like.
This one is at least 10 times better. Dude,
the most toxic people, the guys.
Don't do this. Please don't use
the 17-year-old guy who hasn't gotten laid in 17 years likes that book. And actually, there's a shout out to the.
This book is a masterpiece. If more people read this book, there would be significantly less problems.
Dude, Andrew Tate read that book. He loves that book.
What? So what? Don't do that. What's that called? Ad hominems or whatever?
I don't know, actually.
Okay.
Okay. What else? Well, this is a nice touch.
Which? Punch. Wait.
You can read that, right? You can understand that, right?
Kind of. I understand like all the words, but I'm struggling to understand the sentence together. دیگر پنشیر و دیگر بامیان سر مرز ایران و جای کیان. No. Kian wasn't that like one of those Shahnama like royal houses or something?
Yeah, that's what it means. That Panjshir and Bamiyan are sort of the the house, or sort of the land or the place of royalty.
There you go.
That's what it
See,
means. Roughly.
Saeed knows.
Yep. Um,
Wait, don't do that. You're getting whooped.
what? What? So, do you see any questions you want to take?
I just saw a funny comment.
Because
Covering
it's
head,
very-
we don't care people's opinion. How do you beat that?
Yeah, I wasn't saying covering head is stupid. I was saying wearing a cap is stupid. Cover your head with, like, whatever the prophet used to do that.
Okay,
do
you got a
that.
super chat. I think it's called a super chat, right? When they give you money.
Mhm.
So
In the
let's
Greek
address-
rule of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, interestingly, actually, I recently found out that you were talking about the Shahnameh. So Syawish's son,
Yeah.
one of his sons actually ruled in what is today Pakistan. He ruled in what's that
Wasn't it
place?
Sindh?
Very sorry.
Wasn't it near Sindh?
No, he ruled in Kalat. But where is Kalat actually? Isn't it?
Yeah,
in
Balochistan.
Kalat
Balochistan.
is in Balochistan.
Yeah.
Okay, really? I thought it was in the north somewhere.
No.
Kalat. Okay, nice.
I
Yeah,
think
he
you're thinking
ruled
of
there.
Kohat.
Yeah, the Uzbeks can claim Babur. Of course, they can.
Of course they can. See, no, but this is my point. Listen, because I just read a couple of comments about ethno-nationalism, toxicity, and all of that sort of stuff. Listen, this is the name of the game. Every country does this. What you do with it, how it manifests, and you staving off the worst aspects of it, that's all in your control. But this is essentially an integral element of nation building. You can't not appropriate history if you're talking about nation building. And I would highly recommend every government to nation build. So you shouldn't feel guilt about this. All those worst case scenarios, genocide, crazy dictators with weird mustaches and all of that stuff, that's all controllable. That's not the logical endpoint of what we're talking historical appropriation. It's not. Don't be a wuss, essentially. Okay, don't be a little scaredy cat. You need to engage in this topic. It's an absolute must if you want to have a stable community. Now, how you do it, okay, how permissive, how tolerant you want to make it, that's all up to you. That's whatever individual differences, how it manifests itself. But you can't not appropriate history. You that's like, I don't know, that's like not drinking water. What's going to happen to you if you don't drink water?
You have a lot of contradictory beliefs.
I know.
A lot of them.
I used to get really caught up by that, and then I realized, wait, life is just too complicated, and I made my peace with it.
What I'm thinking?
What do you say this in reference to now? What's contradictory?
You know what I think? I think your entire belief system depends on what the question is right now.
I'm quite a pragmatic guy, but I don't think I'm that pragmatic.
I'm pretty sure that's the whole thing.
No. That would be nah. I'm not that. I'm not that contradictory.
I mean,
I have certain contradictions here and there, but not to that degree. I have a stable worldview.
Sure, I really don't think that.
But that's
or maybe you don't see the contradictions that you have, because you have a lot of contradictory things to say.
I know. But what made you say that now? What made you trigger it now?
Well, earlier you were saying that if two people aren't compatible, they're gonna be blamed for the whole thing. And now you just said that it's up to the founders to appropriate history and build cohesion.
Yeah, but Syawish, where's the contradiction in that? They kind of go into each other. Listen, no. Syawish, what are you talking about, man? Come on. I thought you actually highlighted an actual contradiction. There's no contradiction.
It is a contradiction.
The reason why I say the second thing is because of the first thing. The reason why I say you need to create that kind of social cohesion between disparate groups is to avoid the first thing I said.
No, if compatible, compatible means that a thing is naturally just incompatible. If let's say Islam is really incompatible with the West, there is no way to reconcile that. There's no way to actually, build a
Oh,
cohesive
okay. Yeah, but I'm
without
not. But
compromise. And when we're talking about compromise, you said that
right,
that's
right, 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 right.
not
No,
good.
but I'm not talking in my second example. I'm not talking about subsuming Western Europeans within, for example, an Afghan or a Pakistani identity. I'm talking about Pashtuns and Tajiks being able to coexist together, and I think that is significantly easier than saying Pashtuns and a French person.
I really wouldn't
Is
think
there
that. I really wouldn't say that.
what? Syawish, what are you?
There's a lot of Afghans living in France in peace.
They are, yes, but
Yeah,
that's
unfortunately,
for a variety of other reasons.
they're
Material
everywhere.
being one of the main ones, stable law being another one. But it's
I
not necessarily.
would I would say that the national identity. I'm sorry about that. I'm a little sleepy.
Okay.
My cat wakes me up pretty early, so I would say that Punjabis, for example, it's easier for Punjabi Muslims and Punjabi Sikhs to live together than it is
Good.
for Punjabis and Sindhis to live together, even if they're
Ah,
both Muslims. Honestly, and I know this is true
Wait, say that
for
again. Punjabi Sikhs and Punjabi Muslims are easier than Punjabi Muslims and
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 Sindhi
Sindhi.
Muslims.
That's an interesting one, actually. I got to think about that one because I'm not straight away disagreeing with you. I think you might have a point there.
It's true. Like I know this from a personal perspective, but also like from pretty much everybody, every Punjabi that I've met, they're always happier to meet a Punjabi Sikh than they are to meet a Pakistani Sindhi.
Hmm. Maybe. Maybe.
That it's a language barrier. We're not necessarily. It's not necessarily about language barrier because a Punjabi Pakistani and a Sindhi Pakistani can communicate in Urdu. We just don't like to.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Incredibly bad take, Syawish. Didn't read about partition. To be fair, I don't understand how I missed that one. Yeah, what do you say about that?
The partition was not. People weren't consulted to ask, "Oh, what do you want?" You know,
Okay, so
it
but
it
they
doesn't
acted
mean
upon
that.
it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that just because a partition happened, it doesn't mean that all the differences between the Sindhis, the Punjabis, the Baloch, and the Afghan, the Pashtun were just gone. That they were like, oh, well, let's live together and sing kumbaya because we follow the same religion. That's not true. The partition did not. It's not like there was like actual legitimate voting that was conducted to ask Muslims, what do you want? No, it was the decision of sort of this upper caste Muslim, um, uh, not elites, but like the well-off Muslims, and they decided it, and the British supported them. They did that.
No, but ordinary Punjabi Muslims being
Oh no,
violent.
actually, this guy is talking about the violence between Sikhs and Muslim Punjabis.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I thought he
Yeah,
meant.
that the partition. I would say the partition was what happened during that time. It should not be counted as a long-term reflection on Punjabis because it was a time of heightened emotion. It was a time of violence and like extreme changes. Um, at that point, these things can happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that these two people aren't together in the same way. Like for example, like today, look at Baloch and Punjabis. Like Punjabis and Baloch, they are Muslim. They live in the same country, but as a Punjabi, if you go to Balochistan, they will kill you. This has been happening recently. They've been like looking at they when a bus comes into parts of Balochistan, they stop it and they ask for your ID card, and they kill you if you're Punjabi. It's like execution style killings have been happening. So it's not necessarily a reflection on whether Baloch and Punjabis can live together. It's mostly a reflection on the heightened excitement of the period.
Right.
Any other question? There was something that somebody was saying about coming back to the West thing. That is a pointless question. As much as I hate the question, the discussion is interesting. It's not going to go the whole West and Islam. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere because it's a very pointless conversation. It's a very pointless question, but the discussion is interesting. Somebody was talking about liberalism and Islam. Because the weather recently, I've been like really ill, and my tongue is being weird.
Okay, 1 second.
Don't see. There's a question about liberalism and Islam and something like that.
Wait, did you see one about liberalism in Islam?
There was a question about that, but I've forgotten who asked or. Hey, this is an interesting question as well. Do you think partition was good?
Partition of India.
Partition of British India.
British India. Do I think partition was good? The thing is, if you're going to ask this question, you can't start your reference point 1947 or a few years before that, like 10 years before that, because it doesn't take into account British colonial policies that spanned damn near over a century, but really 50 years, which antagonized the two communities. And almost kind of not made it inevitable, but put them on the road towards partition in the end anyway. So if you wanted to take your reference point prior to, but you got to be careful with that, because then you'd have to take it all the way back to Aurangzeb and say, but the British don't take over India. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to think about it a little bit more. I used to be a lot more clear-cut on it. I used to think it was a really, really bad idea. But the more I delved into the subject, the more I realized that there was going to be some sort of an inevitable clash at the higher levels, not necessarily just with ordinary people. At the higher levels of government and power, there was going to be some degree of a clash between the two communities as a result of British colonial practices, as a result of just the fact that the nation-state model was becoming in vogue, in fashion all around the world, and that was going to bring up questions of national identity, which were going to create clashes between Indian Hindus and Indian Muslims. So now I'm a little bit more undecided about it.
Yeah, here's the thing. First of all, people keep saying partition of India. There was no such thing as a united India other than 3 times in history.
When?
Under Ashok the Great, under Aurangzeb, and then under the British. And the first 2 actually did not completely rule what we think of as India. There were still parts of them missing. But then that's why I say that India's partition. India, there was no such thing as India to partition. And then we come to whether, the partition of the British India. British India was an actual political entity, right? Partition of that region, was that a good idea? It was a very good idea. It was a very, very good idea. It didn't go far enough. The execution was completely botched. Pakistan's founding fathers had no idea what they're going to do once they have that country. But generally, the idea of partitioning India was a very good idea. You cannot have a country that is that diverse, that big, and just put them together. That's really not something that you can have. It's going to lead to complications, and only as long as no one is exploiting those complications can you actually sit together. And now recently exploitation of those complications has been coming up, and we're seeing tensions not only between Indian Hindus and Indian Muslims, but also like the South Indians and North Indians. At the very least, the Indian subcontinent has to have two partitions between the South and the East and the North, because these are very different people, very different languages, cultures, even religions are quite different. So yeah, that's a different thing. But to say that whether it was okay to carve Pakistan, this British India
Mm.
into sort of a Muslim majority land and a Hindu majority land on the basis of nothing but religion, that was also a bad idea. It was always also not a very good idea. But I
Mm.
think that if you could get away with only one thing, then this is a good take, that this is something that you should have done. Divide them on the basis of religion, if nothing else. Ideally, I think what it should have been more nuanced. For example, Punjab should have been one country with Punjabi Muslims, Hindus, and Sikhs, and Bengal should have been one country, and other parts of India like could have been divided into these. I'm not saying that these should have been ethno states completely, but you would need more division. What's wrong with somebody's asking why is a diverse nation bad? A diverse nation is bad because what works for one people does not work for the other people. When India was founded, there was a lot of diversity in its constitution that was granted. Um, the civil law is basically, I wouldn't say it's non-existent in India, but it's just basically dependent on who you are. And so recently they've been trying to sort of create a civil union, a unitary civil law where everybody would follow the same law. But that doesn't work because, first of all, the Muslims have that divorce problem, the three talaq thing. And so there's like all these complications, which is
Mm.
why you cannot have a diverse nation. You cannot have a nation that is so completely different from each other and you can just, put it together into one place.
I think you can
Um,
have a diverse nation.
no, not this diverse. Not this diverse.
Like India diverse?
Yeah, like a diverse-ish nation, it has
Yeah.
two groups, three groups of people, like Nigeria, for example, or Lebanon. Lebanon is a very good example of that. But somebody like India, you have these people who are, I often use this example against Hindu nationalists, and they don't believe me. But when Aurangzeb became sultan, there was this idea that like people think, oh, Hindus were this unitary body, but no, the Hindu Rajput and the Hindu Maratha, they absolutely abhorred each other. They absolutely hated each other
Mm.
because they had nothing in common. They didn't
Mm.
speak the same language, they didn't have the same cultural identity, and you can say that they were Hindus, but Hindu is a vast collection of religious traditions. It's not a single religion, so they didn't
Yeah.
even worship the same gods in the same way. Um, so there was no this didn't was not a similar thing. So a nation this diverse, not really a good idea. You have all
Yeah.
these people who have different ideas about how the country should go. Like for example, South. I am from North India,
Mm.
from the north of the Indian subcontinent, so I can say this without being racist. But North Indians are the most illiterate, the most uneducated, and the most moronic people that have ever existed on this planet.
Mm.
I can say this because I'm also from North India. And South Indians, they're smart people, complex people, educated people. I don't think it should be. It's fair for them to be living with us, in the same
Mm.
country. I don't think that's a good idea.
Wow, that's quite nice of you.
It's-
No, but I think I agree with your point about India being too diverse because it's diverse in multiple ways: religion, language. Language is one of the most important things, to be honest, when it comes to nation building and these kind of things. Um, so I might have to agree with you. But then the partition sets a terrible precedent because then what if other Hyderabad in the Deccan, South Central India, they say, you know what, we're too different from northern India, the nation state of India, so now we want our own independence, right?
okay. Okay,
So
other than the pragmatic thing that India does not want to lose Hyderabad,
yeah.
what's wrong with that?
Hmm. No. From like a political discussion point of
From a
view,
political point of view, I agree.
there's nothing wrong with it, but it's in fact it would probably make a little bit more sense if I'm being honest. But it's just like in real time, practically as it's happening, we both know that it's not going to be most likely not going to be a very smooth transition, right?
That's true. And the transition between British India and Pakistan wasn't smooth either. That was one of the
So it's
most
one of the most chaotic things in human
bloody
history.
events in human history.
Yeah.
So it's certainly that's certainly true. So I personally don't think that you should have a country that is this big, this diverse, with this many. You can have a big country like the U.S. because it
Yeah.
was sort of a new country. It was a new idea. It was a new constitution. Everything was new, and these people they could give up their historical pasts, but you couldn't. You can't do that now with like India.
Okay,
India is
so
just
then I feel like we could we could dedicate an entire live stream to this, but just real rough. How, if in an ideal world you could redraw the lines of India, like how many states, sub-states would be in India? India being pre-47 India. So you could
to be
divide Pakistan,
to
Bangladesh.
be honest I don't know enough about like the micro level of religious and um ethnic identities to like draw borders. Like for
Sure.
example, would the Rajput of Rajputana or Rajasthan be okay with being with Punjabis or not? Like either ish,
Okay, that's fair.
you know.
What about in Pakistan? Do you think Pakistan as a as a unitary state makes sense, or would it make more sense to have some of the provinces become countries?
I don't think that any province in Pakistan has the right geography to actually work as an independent country.
Hmm.
Like if you give Sindh, um, like you know, Balochistan, it has natural resources but not a lot of agricultural land. You know, it's a big part, but it's not exactly. It's very mountainous, so you would have problems. Punjab and uh, a future Pashtunistan would be away from the sea, so they would have their own problems, and Sindh would have like I don't think that any of their geographies right now.
Hmm.
Um, it's like not a very good idea at this point.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I would agree.
Yeah, but you know that's also it also like for example Nehru, the first prime minister of India. I give him a lot of credit for the fact that he did a lot of state building that Pakistan was unable to do.
Hmm.
He even wrote a book called The Discovery of India. You and I have worked on that
Hmm.
project, right?
Yeah.
um, he wrote a book called The Discovery of India to sort of carve a narrative of India, something of a myth. It's not exactly true, it's not exactly historical, but it creates a very nice myth of India. You know, there's he uses the example of the good Muslim, which is Akbar, and the bad Muslim, which is Aurangzeb, and so
Hmm.
he's doing a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah.
And somebody like him or politicians with good intentions could keep on going, but then eventually you do run into all kinds of problems that yeah that you know devolve into chaos. Like Modi right now, for example, Modi is a lot of people think that he's just dividing Muslims and Hindus, but no, he's not doing that. He's even going into like minuscule the minute details, and he's trying to exploit any division that he can find. And there are, of course, many divisions between people. If even Hindus of a particular region have a lot of divides, and so yeah, it's having a country this diverse not really a good idea.
Hmm.
Yeah, Pakistan was a botched job, but a decent idea, not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna defend my boy Syawish for a second because I don't know if you're reading, but there's a bunch of comments talking about Syawish is echoing far right talking points and stuff. Syawish isn't saying that diversity is inherently bad. He's saying that India is on a different level when it comes to diversity because it's from multiple different angles: language, religion, historical experience. If you want to be Darwinian about it, even the kind of genetic background that they have, North Indians versus the Dravidian South, etc., etc. There's too many layers of diversity. Me personally, I think that diversity can be a beautiful thing. It's just like the degree to which there's diversity, right? Like if there's diversity from different worldviews, okay, we may or may not have a problem. But if there's diversity, but you share really big common things like a language or a religion, that's not that big of a deal. In fact, not only is that not that big of a deal, that can actually aid you as well if you approach it in a fairly, not over the top, open-minded and dynamic way. So just want to reinforce that.
Yeah,
because
that's
like
what I meant. I didn't.
it's because I got a little caught up by you saying India's too big of a place. The first place my mind went to was, what about China? What about America? But he's not just saying that. He's saying that it's a really big place with a really big population, with loads of different religious backgrounds, with loads of different languages, with loads of different historical experiences. And when you add them together, it's just a little crazy. It's too...
Yeah, the U.S., like I said, is a different example. About China is being held together by, there's this sort of a wall around it, right? Tibet would want independence, but China wouldn't let them do that. So it's not exactly a very harmonious place either.
Yeah.
So I think that somebody is here calling me jihadi. I'm sorry. Against for his jihadi agenda. Dude.
The internet's a weird thing because there's I've seen comments. Wait, put it up again. What was it? I couldn't. Just real quick. Let me just quickly read it. It's funny when the admin is trying hard to find ways to put Indian speakers into. Yeah, it's like somebody will be calling you jihadi, another person will be calling you far left liberal. The internet is just weird, man.
Yeah, the same. I have been called a Wahhabi, a Jew, and a Shia in the comments of the same video.
Me too. I can't even wrap my head around it. I mean, just pick one and be consistent.
I would actually like to get all three of those people into a room and ask them what parts of the video made you think this.
I don't think all those people watch the whole video, because if they do, I can't I think that highlights some really negative things about human intelligence. Being honest.
And it's unfortunate. I often say that don't judge a YouTube video by its name or thumbnail, because we do them because you gotta attract attention. You gotta make things clickbaity. Judge it by, it's like don't read a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, by the way, you missed the super chat.
Do you think the Greater Israel Project would? I don't think so. Hopefully it won't.
Just to confirm, Greater Israel Project is expanding their territory into Jordan and I guess Syria as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will it be successful? I mean, temporarily, I don't see why not, but long term, no way.
Yeah. No way. I think Israel has lost a lot of reputational. The Gaza war has been pretty bad for its reputation. It's not that the people up top don't support it anymore, but the public of most countries don't support it. It's been quite clear that Israel. So I think that if Israel goes on the offensive, I don't know. I mean, at the moment, I don't know. I'm actually very skeptical about democracy these days as well.
Nice. You might be becoming enlightened.
No, I've never liked democracy. When have I ever said anything good about democracy? Yeah, I've never liked democracy. In our first video, the first video you and I did, I talked about democracy, and a lot of people were like, "I didn't know you were anti-democracy. Oh, it's better than that." I'm like, it's. I think it was Winston Churchill who said that it's the worst way to govern people, other than all the other ways, and that's something that I agree with. That it's not so good that you have to invade other countries to teach them that, right? It has its benefits, it has its flaws. I think that it works better than most other systems, but it doesn't mean that I don't think that it's very good, or it's hyped. It's all that it's hyped up to be. And like with Israel project, you might say that in a real democracy, if the American government supports Israel's war of expansion, then the public would be against it. But the U.S. is not a real democracy, so there's like no idea at this point that what's happening in the U.S. All the things that are happening in the U.S. with like for example, Arab Americans, they're not supporting Kamala Harris, and the liberals and Democrats are already blaming them. Oh, you gotta stop Trump. Trump has been ruling America for 12 years. Like, by ruling, I mean he has been deciding. His presence has been a deciding factor in what direction people are going to vote for. It's either I'm pro Trump or I'm anti Trump. It's like there's no other thing. Oh, I want to vote for Kamala Harris because I like her, because I like her policies, or I want to vote for Joe Biden because everybody's like, oh no, you got to stop Trump. Oh no, you got to stop Trump. So Trump has been ruling the U.S. for 12 years, and it's just ridiculous at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Casey, real quick. The Greater Israel Project will be successful. So the thing you got to bear in mind whenever you're talking about Israeli success in general is Muslims, but more specifically Arabs, on the ground, ordinary Arabs I'm talking about, forget about the governments for a bit, they're antithetical to the idea of Israel. To the idea. I didn't say a two-state solution. I said the idea, okay? And that, it's almost passed down generation by generation. It's almost like a default point where if you consider yourself as part of our identity, this is the viewpoint that you need to have. Now, as a result of that, you need to be very cautious about ascribing any degree of success to Israel in the future, long-term success, right? Short-term, your military, certain political maneuvers and military maneuvers that you do can bring you a large degree of success. That's one of the reasons I'm not that, I feel like a lot of people don't take that into consideration. And it's because of things like Islam, where Palestine, well, not Palestine, but Jerusalem specifically, is ascribed damn near semi-holy, semi-sacred status. That means that all of the stuff that you see in relation to Israel, like a rapprochement between Israel and certain Arab states, it's all like short to medium term. Like long term, none of those things are going to work out. Like I'm talking even the Egyptian one, Anwar Sadat in 79 or whatever it was, because the bulk of the society, they're antithetical, antagonistic to it. So, and sooner or later, that antagonism is going to rise to the surface. So yeah, I feel like not a lot of people talk about that because we're so focused on the here and now. And I guess the last 70, 80 years of Israel's existence is this isn't. And I wonder like what the Israeli establishment thinks about that. I'm sure that they think about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, actually.
Of course, man. King, what's his name? Hussein? Who's Abdullah? Sorry, Abdullah of Jordan. Not him, but his dad made peace with Israel. But if you ask ordinary Jordanians what you think of Israel, I'm not saying all of them, of course, but I would say, and not what they think of ordinary Israelis. Remember, there's a big difference, right? But the state of Israel, the government of Israel, I'm pretty sure they're pretty antagonistic about it. And that antagonism is not just going to not have practical ramifications, because those ordinary people, some of them eventually go into positions of power. And yes, there are things working against them, practical realities, US aid to your country. You have to think about that. You have to think about Israel's military capabilities, but your own convictions, your own beliefs, they're an important facet of decision-making process, those things are going to have a bearing, which is why, dude, if I was Israeli, I'd be, maybe Israelis don't want to think about this, because if you do, then you realize, oh my God, our future is a nightmare.
Amen. Amen. Sorry.
Same thing.
Also,
It's
12
the same
years.
thing
Sorry.
with Saudi. Mohammed bin Salman, he could recognize the state of Israel. Yes, short term, it will make a difference. Maybe even medium term, it will make it different. Long term, it won't make any difference. Any difference. What is
Yeah.
going to happen is going to happen.
Also, there's like too much bad blood now. Too much blood has been spilled now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Exactly.
And like the blatant hypocrisy and the whole thing, like the cultural and the narrative war that is happening, it's just too blatant. You can see that, oh, these colonial states, they're helping Israel, and it's so blatantly killing all these innocent people, and so the whole thing has just, yeah, it's just burned too many bridges at this point.
Yeah. No, exactly. And also, one other little thing, please hear me properly when I say this, but US support for Israel is not like, it's not absolutely set in stone. Like, you can say it's set in limestone, one of the softer stones, but it's not set in granite, like I can definitely foresee a reality in the future. A bunch of different things would need to happen, and then those factors, multiple factors, would need to interact with each other, where the US kind of just goes, listen, I got enough of my own problems. I don't really see how this plays such a big role, what this has to do with me. And as a matter of fact, me helping you actually undermines me. So I can definitely foresee that happening. It's not as simple as the way I'm saying it would make you believe. Because like I said, multiple different big things need to happen. The US needs to, for example, one of them could be the US goes through terrible economic conditions. Arab or Muslim Americans reach a new level of eminence within American society, etc., etc. A bunch of different. Israel does something really crazy, drops a nuke somewhere, etc., etc. But yeah, American support for Israel is not set in stone anywhere nearly as much as people think.
I completely disagree with that. I think at this point I can see the dissolution of the United States to be more easily attainable than a decline in their support of the US. Why? You would have to change the US's structure in order to.
Sorry. Keep going. My bad. I apologize. I was rude of me.
Yeah. In order to separate the US and the Israel, what you would have to do is you would have to decrease AIPAC's influence.
Okay.
And you cannot do that for two reasons. First of all, Israeli money. Israeli government will continue supporting the AIPAC, and they will continue supporting candidates on both sides of the aisle. And then on the other side, you would have to the Jews at this point in time, especially the Zionistic Jews, they have a lot more what Ibn Khaldun called asabiya. They have a lot more group feel. They have a lot more cohesion.
Absolutely.
And driven by that, I think that they will continue lobbying the U.S. Congress to keep supporting Israel. You would have to change the U.S. in fundamental ways. You would have to change the constitution. You would have to make lobbying not illegal, but you would have to at least have to put a ton of checks and balances on it. You might even have to remove the filibuster. The filibuster, if you're doing all those other things, get rid of the filibuster as well. I hate the filibuster. So yeah, that's a different thing. And yeah, somebody's saying the APAC should be illegal because it's foreign influence on American soil. Exactly, yes. And they are helping candidates get elected. So I believe that also can be counted as election interference by a foreign. If the same was true for Russia, by the way, if there was a Russian group that was doing all this, that would literally, be common news every single day. So that's what I'm saying, that the fundamental nature of lobbying in the US, and the fundamental nature of how candidates are controlled by certain uh, committees makes US's support of Israel almost certainly set in stone, and granted it is.
I see where you're coming from, but I disagree. And the thing is, the argument I'm going to use, you've basically used it for your own argument, but you don't see how it relates to Israel. You trust me. I am like my outlook on life.
Big brain man.
I'm a what?
Big brain man.
Big brain.
Yeah.
Slightly above average, but
Sure.
I'm quite a. I don't like saying I'm a materialistic person, but I take in. I understand materialism to be quite an important thing. So trust me, I understand how important money can be, the financial aid that APAC, Jewish lobbies, Zionist lobbies give. All of that stuff is important, but it's not a make or break. People's perception is also very, very important. You just mentioned it right now. If a Russian billionaire was to give aid to an American politician, are you okay?
Yeah, why?
Because I can barely see you. You're going further and further down.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was standing desk and I've gotten a little tired of sitting, so I'm just standing up now.
Okay,
Just
fair
want to
enough.
make sure. Okay.
So people's perception is very important, right? If a Russian billionaire wants to give money to an American politician to lobby on behalf of the Russian government, people are going to have a problem with that. Why? Because people have somewhat of an antagonistic, to varying degrees, an antagonistic perception of not Russians in general. Yeah, I guess you can just say Russians. Let's be sloppy for a second. So if the same thing happens with Jews, then there's no way that I would assume that money means as much then when the perception has turned against, if not Jews, Zionists, as it meant when the perception was with them. The perception being with them, meaning like in the 70s, 60s, 50s, Israel is the victim of multiple aggressor neighboring Arab states. We need to help them, etc., etc. But when that perception starts to shift, and somebody in the comments made a decent point, Gen Z, which I'm guessing is really young people, I'm seeing a lot of change, a lot of discrepancy between Gen Z's, at least online perception of Zionism, to some more old school Western people. And I think that will play a massive role, because that Gen Z is eventually going to be in positions of power sooner or later. And if their perception of Israel is nowhere near as positive as what it used to be, right, up until now or up until whatever, when they were still perceived to be the victim, quote unquote, then I think that will have massive ramifications. Trust me, money is a weird thing, because I genuinely do think you can buy loyalty. You could probably even short to medium term even buy love, to be honest with you. But like there is like a way to go about it. You can't just do it sloppily. It's not just money itself. There's a process to it. You know what I mean? Even if you want to bribe somebody, you don't bribe them by just throwing money in their face. You know, you do it in a nice way. You just kind of, I don't know, shake hands with them, and you hand them like £100,
You buy them a meal.
buy them a meal. You know, there's a way to doing things. Money
My
is
brother.
very important, but you have to do it in. It comes with a package, with a process, like to placate the human need for being on the right side. If I don't think I'm on the right side, if all evidence points to Israel being the bad guy, trust me, money is going to mean a lot less than what you think it will mean.
That's not I'm not disagreeing with that, but there's about Russia right now. There's like 80 years of propaganda
Yeah.
right now that is behind. If Russia does something like that, if Russian influence in politics goes up, then there would be some outcry because of that.
Yeah.
Israel has 80 years of propaganda of being the victim, so there's that
But
thing.
here,
Um,
I can I say something? This is very. I'm gonna say
sure.
it. Okay. I'm just observing. This is not my views, not whatever. Leave me alone. Okay. There's a problem with your argument. Okay.
Hmm.
The problem is Judaism is inherently ethno-nationalist. It is,
Okay.
or religious, whatever. Judaism is a religion and an ethnicity simultaneously. Okay,
Mhm.
so that undermines your argument big time because yes, 80 years of propaganda for Israel. What about 2,000 years of anti-Semitic? Yeah, the word nobody wants to hear. What about 2,000 years of anti-Semitic propaganda being championed by the West proudly? If not 2,000, 1,800, 1,900 years.
That
Okay, and no. I'm about to finish. Sorry, because and this is the thing which drives me kind of crazy. If I was Israeli or if I was Jewish, dude, have you seen some of like the anti-Israeli stuff coming out on social media? Two
yeah.
things to know. Number one is the sheer number, right? Like the number of views, the number of likes it gets. It's kind of scary, okay? And then number two is the the inability a lot of the times in that online posts, reels, whatever, tweets to differentiate between Israel and Jews, between Zionism and Semitism, right? Those two things get blurred. So that's why if you're Israeli or if you're just a Jew, I would genuinely be scared about this stuff because a lot of people are not able to differentiate between the two things. And to some extent, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. To some extent, I can see where they're coming from, right? How many Jews around the world are pro-Israeli and how many Jews are anti-Israeli, right? I haven't done a survey, a meta survey of this, but I would say that the vast majority are probably most likely pro-Israeli, right? So
Mhm.
now, human beings are not always 100% logical or rational, especially when, quote unquote, pardon my French, shit hits the fan. When things get really, really tough, it becomes difficult to properly delineate why you dislike somebody or the differences, the small nuances between this person that you dislike versus this person that shares a lot of attributes with the person that you dislike, but it's not actually that person, it's a different person. You just lump people into one category, right? So, dude, your point about there being 80 years of Israeli propaganda, what about 1900 years of anti Semitism?
Okay. Putting that aside.
Anti Semitism,
Putting that aside.
sponsored anti Semitism.
Putting that aside.
Wow.
First of
Go ahead.
all, APAC's influence. We're talking about the Gen Z ultimately becoming a generation that hates Israel. It's
Okay.
entirely possible, but baby boomers hated war. They were hippies. They were fighting, they were protesting against the Vietnam War in the same way that Gen Z now are protesting against the support of Israel. And you can look at what baby boomers did. So I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but ultimately, what the Gen Z, the whole Gen Z of this equation, I think that that should be put aside because we don't know what way they're going to fall in 70 years, right?
No,
Um,
no, but hold on. Sorry. Remember what you were gonna say. No, but see, I wish if I may say so respectfully, my friend, that's I don't know what the word for it is, lazy, that's convenient. That you can't do that. Why put them aside? Gen Z is the generation that's gonna take charge.
Dude,
You
so
can't
were the baby boomers. The baby boomers were hippies, they were pacifists, and
right,
they
and we
have
saw the practical ramifications of what happened when they went into positions of power. So
what happened? They've been keeping U.S. on the heels of war for like 40 years now. But
not really.
Gen Z, it's a different thing. Gen Z aside, I'm talking about the political structure of the U.S. APAC
Okay.
lobbying, that still stands.
Okay.
And the ultimate fatal flaw with the the US has two parties. If today there's a Gen Z who's like, I don't know, 21, who wants to vote for, who wants Israel Palestine to be the main crux of his decision about the election, he actually doesn't have a choice. He can all he can do is not vote for anybody, and that can help Trump win. So Israel-Palestine issue, not the biggest issue in the US right now. There's always bigger fish to fry because the US, blessed as it is, democracies also have this fatal flaw where things are circular. 70 years ago, abortion. Abortion, abortion, abortion. Today, abortion, abortion, abortion. The same things are coming back. In the US, things just keep coming back in a loop. So can we really say that 70 years from now, the 70 years from now, there won't be another Donald Trump that will force Gen Z? Let's say the Gen Z, they want to, let's say, not support Israel, but there will always be bigger fish to fry. That's sort of the problem with the U.S. and its political structure in general. You have these, you always have, and somebody objected in the comments to me saying that Donald Trump has been ruling America for 12 years. What I actually meant is that Donald Trump will be ruling America for 12 years when Kamala Harris's 4 years are done, because you have 2016 election, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. A lot of people voted for Hillary Clinton just to stop Donald Trump. Then you have 2020 election, again, same thing. And now you have 2024 election, again, same thing. So from 2016 to 2028, that's 12 years that will be completely influenced by Donald Trump, either out of love for him or hatred for him. But yeah, Donald Trump is the main fish. And that's what I'm saying, that America's structure, its democratic structure, does not allow for a third party. You will have to make constitutional changes in order to make third party more.
There's loads of other parties. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, that's not what I say. I'm not saying that, okay, allowed is not a good word, but there's only two major parties. The third party, at this moment, the most powerful third party is the Green Party, and they're polling at 2% at the most.
Bro, no, but Syawish, listen, I hate to sound condescending, but those things can change, Syawish. Who in their right mind, apart from the directors of The Simpsons, funnily enough, would have predicted in 2002, 1998, 2006, oh, in 2016, Donald flipping Trump is going to be the president? Dude, nobody would have predicted that. If you tell me in 15 years from now, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is going to become president, I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Dwayne Johnson is too boring to be president. He tries to appease everybody. He's not going to be president. The day Ronald Reagan became president, I think we could have said that Donald Trump is going to be if not president, he's going to be a major political figure.
No, that's a different thing. Don't do that. No, don't do it.
The point is not Donald Trump.
That's not. I hear loads of people online making that point. That's nowhere near as good of a point as you think. Ronald Reagan was a highly successful governor of the most important American state, California. Yeah, and he had a
California. Sorry.
There, Tourette's just came out. Yeah,
that was
nice.
Sorry.
So that's not the same thing. Ronald Reagan is not the same thing as Donald Trump. Don't. It's not even close. Okay, not even close.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Donald Trump, Ronald Reagan, an actor who became a politician. Donald Trump, a reality TV star, became politician.
He transitioned. He was an actor in the flipping.
Listen. Don't focus on the Donald Trump thing. Focus on the bigger fish thing. The U.S. cannot break the duopoly. The third party, a third party can never become major enough in the U.S. to actually give you.
potentially could. I think there's a small chance. But okay, let's just argue with you. Let's agree with you. Sorry. What if somebody comes and they change one of the two parties from the inside? Like Donald Trump's Republicans are not the same Republicans as, I don't know,
Reagan's Republicans, or even Bush's Republicans.
Bush's Republic, Bush Junior, Senior's Republicans, for example. Right?
Very different people, yes.
So there, things change, man. Don't like, don't get stuck up on the way things are now is going to be the way they are now in the future, especially because you're adding new things.
It's about the system. It's about the system. It's about the system. The system does not allow.
Okay, that's a very good point, actually. Listen. You just made a very good point. That's why I cut you off. You're right. Systems, and I love the fact that you're putting so much emphasis on that. But systems come under stressors. Okay, and those stressors will modify. Forget your flipping cat. I'm about to teach you some wisdom.
He was sitting here.
Listen. Stressors modify. They don't wholesale change. It would have to be a ridiculous stressor, like a meteor or something. But stressors modify systems. Okay, the whole world seems to be going through some degree of economic difficulties. Okay, one stressor, the internet creating an entire Gen Z, so to speak. Another stressor. Okay. Just loads of different things happening, man. What are you talking about? Systems can change. They can change very, very. And trust me, like the next 30 to 40 years, there will be a ridiculous amount, unfortunately, of change taking place, because there has to be, because humans will need to adapt.
Ultimately, somebody has made an interesting point, actually. How exactly would Palestine be a better country for America's needs than Israel? That is also a very important fact. That's also a very important question, because it adds nuance. It adds nuance that Gen Z in a later age might actually begin considering. They might actually begin considering that. Oh, okay.
Do you want to take this first, or I go?
No, my answer is simple, that it's not. Palestine is not a better country for America's needs than Israel is.
It is 199% better. 100, whatever metric you want to use. Okay, in order for you to understand why, you have to understand. Now, pay attention to me, everybody. Okay, if you got other things going on in the background, stop. Okay, pay attention.
No, I was just checking my email.
Not you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people watching. How many people are watching? 67 people. Listen, and especially if you're non-Muslim, if you're non-Arab, you really need to listen to this. Palestine is not a normal Muslim country. Okay? It is very, very important. Okay? Remember that phrase that I used earlier. It is semi-sacred. You have to appreciate that in its fullest context. Okay, to be able to understand what I'm saying. If you were to do whatever the hell you wanted with Afghanistan, there's an ummah, right, that like loosely connects the entire Muslim world, whether it's a Moroccan to a flippin' Indonesian or a Malaysian. But those things are not. Don't over romanticize the ummah. Okay, the ummah exists, right? When I see a Filipino say "Salamu alaikum" to me, I'm not going to lie to you. It makes me feel a little something. It's not the same as if a Filipino said, "Hello, how are you doing?" Okay? But don't over romanticize.
What part of your body do you feel something in?
Right here. The left,
okay.
Where my heart is.
So
okay?
It's not of a sexual nature. I thought it was maybe, I don't know. I don't know what you're into. Maybe you're into Filipinos. I don't know.
Just be quiet. You know what? You be quiet. I'm talking to the people here, okay? So if what was happening to Palestine happened to Afghans, trust me, it would not hit as deep, anywhere near as deep, as if it's Palestine. And there aren't really too many places in the world like that. I'd say Saudi Arabia, but it's not even Saudi Arabia. It's the flipping Hijaz. It's just Mecca and Medina, right? Mecca, Medina, Jerusalem. Okay? Those places, they're ridiculously important for Muslims. Even if a Muslim doesn't know that they're important for them, it's important for them. Okay, even if they're not thinking about it, subconsciously, consciously, it does not matter. Okay, now here, if some of you are thinking, wow, Tariq's made such a nice level-headed point, I'm going to bring a piece of evidence that's going to horrify you, but please, please don't make your judgment yet. Okay, and YouTube, if you're listening, I'm not a crazy person. When you hear people, Osama bin Laden, okay, constantly making references to Palestinian persecution at the hands of the Israeli, it's really easy for you to just sit there, as I'm sure some people who are horrified at the fact that I'm making this point right now, to go, oh no, but he's just a crazy, sadistic, maniacal, masochistic murderer. The fact that you're even acknowledging his identification as a Muslim, Tariq, that's a bit crazy. Blah, 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 all of this. Forget that, okay? I'll give you all of that, yeah? He's masochistic. He was responsible for bringing a US invasion to my country of birth, which resulted in some of my family members being murdered and Afghanistan experiencing 20 years of extra war. So trust me when I tell you, I don't have no love lost for bin Laden, okay? But I'm telling you right now, and I'm sorry to the ummah, to the Akis and Ukhtis, who I'm kind of snaking, a lot of people heard that just at one point. They didn't necessarily hear that and go, oh yeah, we need to smash planes into building, but they heard that and they go, yeah. Like normal Muslims, you might consider him a masochistic, psychopathic Muslim, but normal, good, level-headed Muslims who have everything intact, they heard that and they went, well, yeah, he does have a point there. I'm not saying I agree with him crashing planes into buildings or any of the other crazy things he does, but that thing, he has a point there. Okay, my point is Palestine is, forget semi, it's sacred. Okay, so now with all of that out of the way, America's standing with the Islamic world would stand to benefit hugely if they were more pro-Palestinian. So now you might go to your, now I'm gonna think on behalf of you, and you go, oh, but who cares about the Islamic world? That's lazy. That's lazy. Okay, there are certain Islamic countries that are on the up. Okay.
Yeah, and they are already sided with the US.
No, but I told you it doesn't matter what the government does, man. Stop thinking. Listen, me and you, we're ordinary people. So it's okay for us to think in the present or in the short-term future. If you're a politician, you don't have that excuse. You have to think long-term. You have to be responsible.
What are you talking about? I cannot make sense of anything you're saying.
Listen, Mohammed bin Salman, in 10 seconds from now, we could read BBC News say Mohammed bin Salman recognizes Israel. It wants to be best friends with Israel. It does not matter. 50, 60 years from now, it does not matter. Because there are enough Saudis, there is enough of Saudi society that will go, oh my God, this is disgusting. This is treason. Yeah. This is immoral. This is kufr.
Okay? Yeah, and Saudi Saudi society is famous for influencing the decisions of the Saudi government, right? Saudi society can have a ton of opinions, and the government listen. Same for the UAE, same for much of the Islamic world.
Saudi society is not impervious to human nature. Okay,
what is human nature?
Let me tell you what human nature is.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
No. Listen. One second. Slow down. You made a good point. Human nature in relation to power. Okay, I'm not trying to make a liberal democratic argument that the government just is at the behest of ordinary people and it only does what ordinary people want. But you would be a fool. You would be a nihilistic, depressed, atheistic, stupid person if you think that an ordinary people, popular will has no effect on the government. That's ridiculous. In the 1970s, in the late 50s, 60s, early to mid 1970s, Saudi Arabia ramped up its modernization. Okay, it's got an influx of oil money coming in 1973. The price of oil tripled. By that point, the Saudi Aramco was gradually becoming more and more nationalized. I think by 1974 or 5, it was 100% nationalized. So they got more money coming in, obviously higher standard of material progress, etc., all of that stuff. But there were societal changes, cultural and societal changes happening. 1979 happens. Ayatollahs come to power in Iran, the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, and the great mosque siege in Mecca happens. And the Saudis go, oh, damn, we need to kind of slow this down, and be more, even more, not more, even more friendlier with the Wahhabi ulama. We need to give them even greater power. And by the way, the exportation of Wahhabi ideology, it doesn't start there, because from the 60s and even like in the 50s, it happened a little bit, but it goes to a new level post 80s. It's as a result of that. Don't fool yourself into this depressed, cynical world viewpoint where you think ordinary people's viewpoints have no ramifications on leaders. It has real ramifications on them in the present, and then moving on into the future. Dude, you understand old people die and young people take their place, right? And I get it. From the time that you're young to the time that you're old, loads of things can happen. Money can corrupt a person. I don't know, life can make you a little bit more conservative. Loads of different trends and themes happen. But even if you retain a tenth of the conviction that you had when you were young, it's going to have practical ramifications on a state level, on a governmental level. Okay, it doesn't. Saudi could recognize Israel tomorrow, and yes, it's going to have real practical ramifications now, and that's terrible and that's unfortunate. 60, 70 years from now, it won't prolong, it won't deny the inevitable. The inevitable is the inevitable. Okay. So sorry, to come back to my point, because I know I'm liable to go on rants sometimes on tangents. America's position with the Muslim world would significantly improve if it was pro-Israeli. Okay, and I will tell you this, for those of you that think that doesn't matter, maybe you're seeing it now a little bit, but not that much. Trust me, people do not forget historical trauma, or let's just call it historical trauma, is a very, very real thing. Okay, and I'm telling you right now, most of the problem, the problems that America has with the Middle East and the Islamic world, because by the way, there is a problem. I hope you understand, right? Loads of people, if you go to ordinary Islamic societies, you could go from Pakistan to Iraq to Bahrain to wherever the hell it is, there will be a good percentage of people that are anti-American. And one of the things that they will point to is American support of Israel against the Palestinians. And those things will have a very practical effect moving forward. What if by 2050, 8 of the top 25 or 30 economies in the world are Muslim countries? Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, Turkey, all of these places. And now you're telling me that a good chunk, and by the way, I think I'm being quite conservative when I say that it's a good chunk. It's probably the majority, if I'm keeping it a buck with you. Yeah, majority meaning above 50%. The majority of those now really important economies have an antagonistic relationship to you. At that point, don't ask me to flesh out the argument even further. At that point, I would like you to utilize your own common sense a little bit to know that those things, I don't know how. I don't know. Life is really complicated. But those things are going to have knock-on effects. Yeah, that antagonism that I have is going to have knock-on effects on a practical level.
Okay.
I don't see how you can see this.
Dude, how are you so optimistic and wrong?
I'm not optimistic. It's being able to just observe things.
I like that you didn't say I'm not optimistic and wrong. You just said I'm not optimistic, so you admit that you're wrong.
I could be wrong. I'm always open to the idea of me being wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think. I feel fairly confident, but I could definitely be wrong. Yeah, 100%. I'm not in love with my viewpoints.
I don't know. We should actually wrap it up because I'm getting down like sick or something. I'm sneezing. So yeah, it's been 2.5 hours. So
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
anybody that's pessimistic or cynical about, I don't know, all of this sort of stuff, don't be. Human nature is human nature. The one thing I'm just going to say with this one final thing, and then we can wrap it up, that I feel like people are not taking into account, which is why when I say what I say, people go, "Oh my God, Tariq, you're being so optimistic. Where'd you get all this optimism from?"
Do people actually say that, or is it just me?
No. Everybody says this. Everyone thinks I'm just like some cracked optimist. No, the thing you're not taking into account, America is not always going to be this powerful. For the love of God, I thought that was a given. I didn't even think we'd have to even address that. I'm not saying America's going to become a third world country in 20 years from now, but there's no way America's going to be able to sustain. Well, definitely no way, because of some of the real grassroots fundamental problems that they have, which we don't have time for now. Maybe next time. So when that starts to happen, trust me, the world is going to become more emboldened to go, you know what? I'm going the other way. I'm not this way that we've been doing it. We're all buddy. I'm all scared of America. Not that scared of you anymore, man. And you know what? You know when I was scared of you, I didn't forget that. I'm actually very angry at that. I'm not going to forget that. And yes,
Tariq, actually,
people will be pragmatic, so they're not just going to react out of pure emotion. But don't be surprised.
Don't say that you're angry at the US and you're not going to forget that. Homeland Security is watching this video right now.
Bro, I want to give advice, bro. I want to be in the American Foreign Office or whatever and just tell them. I don't know about the rest of the world, but the Islamic world,
people, what you need to know.
Let me teach you, because whatever you guys are doing now, trust me, this is gonna bite you in the behind in a way that shock you.
What people need to know about Tariq is that he is a white guy in a whitish body. He is basically a right winger. He would support Trump if he was, if it wasn't so blatant. So yeah, he's very much a right wing dude.
I'm not a right winger. I've always said this on camera, off camera. There's only one political label I associate or identify as. I'm a conservative with change. I'm a conservative to change. That's it.
Yeah, see?
Apart from that,
well, that's literally what right wingers are, and plus you like capitalism, so that's.
But also, conservative change doesn't mean I don't like change. It's just when we talk about the topic of change, let's talk about it like adults. Let's have our coffee. Let's have some almonds and some walnuts for some brain power. Let's make sure we've done some exercise beforehand. We've got our sleep, and we take it really seriously. Don't just go, oh yeah, change. Yay, change because it makes people feel good about themselves. No, don't be stupid. Okay?
Yeah, that's exactly. He is basically Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is don't insult my intelligence. Donald Trump is a buffoon, bro.
Why do you think he's a buffoon? He became president on first try. Did you become president of anything on, let alone first, like even the 10th try?
Well, thankfully, and I love this. This is actually one of the reasons I don't get so caught up about being intelligent or not being intelligent. Intelligence is not the only metric for success. I know loads of dumb people that are really, really successful.
Okay, and are you successful?
Not yet.
Okay,
I don't think so.
See, that's the thing. Tariq thinks that he's basically a temporarily embarrassed millionaire, and so that's the reason that he supports capitalism. That's the reason that he supports. He's conservative because he doesn't want to change. Because
I don't know about supporting.
Gonna benefit under the current system.
The broad
Dude, to be honest, I'm like really bored right now, and I'm playing Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm playing yeah. I'm literally climbing the Notre Dame right now.
You're a madman. Okay, wait. Tariq is America first. 100%. Every country
exactly.
first. Your mind.
See,
I can't believe that's even up for debate. What are you talking about? Listen. If you're a country and you put external things above your own country, don't even talk to me. Like, honestly.
Yeah, but you're not America or even an American.
No, I'm saying it's a principle. It doesn't matter. You could be Chinese. I'm not Chinese.
But you are America first. That's what we're saying.
What does that mean? No, I'm talking as a
You're-
principle.
No, you are America first. That's what we're saying.
I would definitely put America first. Yeah.
Exactly. See,
I was American.
he's
Yeah.
capital. He's basically Ronald Reagan, but he's not that charismatic.
If you don't put America first, that's preposterous. Like the fact that that's Donald Trump's like go-to thing, which like his catchphrase, his slogan, and people go, "Oh wow, like that's amazing," or "Oh wow, that's terrible." This is one reason why I don't like to talk about politics. Like, are you out of your mind? That's not even up for debate. What do you mean America first? Of course, America first.
Dude, wait, let me just pull off this sweet move. Okay. So yeah, are we done?
Let me see any other question. Syawish lost so hard he had to check out and play video games.
Yeah, exactly. I checked out and I'm playing video games because
I guarantee you. Listen, if I decided to get into Assassin's Creed, yeah, I think I would start whooping you within like 9 days.
Dude, sure.
Because
you're way too old to start playing video games now.
Nah, I play video games, but I just play like the good ones.
Like what? FIFA
and Call of Duty.
Oh my god, you're like the basic ass frat boy. See, those are white frat boy games.
Don't you see the hat?
What is the hat? What does the hat say?
Well, it looks like a white frat boy.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. He's a wannabe white frat boy.
Hell yeah. Now I'm a winner is what I am.
Yeah. If he was like, I don't know, 12 years younger, he'd be playing Fortnite.
Dude, I played Fortnite one time. I hate Fortnite.
Because you're older.
No, because I'm terrible. I got one kill and then I died and then I'm just frozen out of the game. I'm just watching. What the hell is this? Let me respawn. I want to come back to life.
Being a ghost.
Huh?
That's being a ghost. It's basically what being a ghost is.
Nah, man, I want to participate. I hate Fortnite.
Okay, the people who are saying AC Mirage is better than AC Unity, I agree to some extent, but the parkour is much better in AC Unity, and I love just parkouring in it. The graphics are really crap still.
Right. Okay.
So anyhow,
who do you think won, guys? Me or Syawish?
If the people say that you've won, then that just proves the problems with democracy that I said.
You know what you sound like.
You know what?
You sound like
you know what I'm gonna do? No. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? No. You know what I'm gonna do?
Oh no, there was corruption. Well, maybe, yeah, but maybe not. That's literally the reason Bangladesh became a country. Is because
we were talking
couldn't accept the results of an election.
We were talking about people and people's will, right?
Yeah.
You were saying that if the people really want something to happen, that it will happen no matter what the government wants.
No. Baijan, I did not say this.
What did you say?
I said it is a very important factor. Sometimes, sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it has a slight effect. Sometimes it has a medium-sized effect. Just don't come here and tell me it has no effect. That's cynical and depressed. That's it. That's all I said.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
So you know what I'm gonna do now?
Go on.
All the people who say the Tariq one, I'm just gonna remove their comments because I'm the government.
Hey, listen. Somebody goes, I have known he's trying to say Tariq since first school. Well, it wasn't first, it was secondary school. He is a white British man pretending to be Afghan. He visited Afghanistan for 2 weeks, then changed his name to Tariq. Maybe.
Exactly. Maybe. That's what I think. That's what I think. And see, Tariq, the opinion of the people, it doesn't matter. You can just remove it. You can just delete comment.
No, but it has an effect.
What effect does it have?
Well, this we're just
Yeah.
bantering, but like
This
whatever.
guy is saying you can't censor the people. I'm gonna remove your comment and let's see.
Yeah. So then, what's he gonna do? He's gonna start spamming your videos,
I'm just gonna ban him.
and then he
I
creates a new
am
channel.
I
He
am the
creates a new
power.
channel.
I
He
have a lot
creates.
of free time. I can just remove all of them.
You get a lot of views. I know you don't do that.
It
He gets
takes
15
him
different channels.
it takes him like much more time to set up a new
Oh,
account
maybe he's
than it
willing to
does
do
for me to
that.
ban.
Maybe he's willing to do that.
See, now this Fozan Siddiqui is saying that Syawish is corrupt. I'm gonna let this
Yeah.
comment remain. I'm gonna let this comment remain to prove that I don't censor people while I'm removing other comments.
See, but
If I was censoring
how I
people, would
know.
Fozan be able to say
I know,
that?
Syawish, you're not a leader, you're a follower, yeah? Because you just react. What are you reacting for?
No, I actually have a couple of fake accounts that are also saying Syawish won.
Okay, well, I mean, you are Pakistani, so, corruption.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Democracy doesn't work. We with the people doesn't matter. That's the whole thing.
Right.
Come back, Thomas. Drop the act.
What?
He's
Come back,
calling
Thomas.
you Thomas. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Drop the act.
Okay.
Anyhow, we should end the live stream because I'm not feeling well.
Okay. People, real quick. I got a bunch of Lebanon, Israel, Palestine content coming up. I have a video. My next video is going to be about the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982. Pretty much finished the video, and if I may say so, it's a pretty good video. So you have that to look forward to. If I could ask any of you for a favor, if you're proper big fans of Hikma history, get me started on TikTok. I don't really understand it. I uploaded like 3 of my TikToks. They got demonetized or like censored within like 3 seconds.
You probably don't even get monetized on there.
Me, because of the modern conflicts and stuff.
No, because you're just like new. You need to reach a certain watch hour and stuff.
No, not demonetized. It was taken down. It was literally taken down. So
really, TikTok does that? I didn't think TikTok did that.
Dude, it was like 3 videos, and I didn't necessarily. They were all monetized and okay by YouTube. So if you could just share my TikToks, if you're on TikTok, if you like that, just like and stuff like that, because I'm finding it difficult to get some traction. And everybody tells me TikTok is easy. It's like catching wildfire. It's real easy.
And how do you reach a new audience? Because I'm like really at this moment, my channel is not growing at all, and I'm like really pissed off about that.
Well, we can talk about that off camera because my channel is changing quite a lot, like demographics. Can I ask you real quick, what percentage of your viewers are females?
It's always like 10% or so.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm going above 10% now. I'm like 12, 13, close to 14%. And I don't know about you, but to me that was really surprising, man. I'm proud of that.
I'm gonna end up saying some very, very sexist stuff. So let's do that off camera.
No, but I mean, if it's real, then it is what it is, Like, I mean.
Well, no, I'm just gonna go on a sexist.
You can't really get too offended by like what, like me.
No, joking aside, women just aren't into this kind of stuff, history, or like there are certainly women who are into that, but the percentage of them is quite different compared to like men.
That's what I thought, which is why I'm so proud of 14%. Dude, I thought it would be like 2, 3, 4%.
Women are more into like, I don't know what women are into, to be honest, but yeah, not into science or history.
No.
Yeah, or engineering. Or like anything that requires you to use your mind. So yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, chill. Jonathan Ogibe, this was a quality debate. Thanks for inviting us. My pleasure, my guy. Damn, some racist shit. Wait, did someone say some racist shit? Your channel seems to be okay. Anyway, people, it was a pleasure. This was actually quite a fun debate. Yeah.
Dude, you know what? In the future, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start moderating this thing. I'm gonna bring like a notebook and stuff, and I'm gonna try to like actually because you keep changing your point of view and you just keep going in weird directions.
Very nice. Yeah. But that would make it real like interesting, because I know that I have a lot of contradictory views, but I don't hear that and go, oh, that completely undermines my point. Like, I know sometimes when you contradict yourself, especially if it's like directly, then yeah, but for the most part, the contradictions in my argument are a simple reflection of the sophistication and the complex nature of life. Like,
No,
if you don't have any contradictions in your argument, you're either not thinking deeply enough. Yeah, you're just not thinking deeply enough. Like, how can you not have any?
If you don't have contradictions?
Yeah.
Isn't it like the opposite? You're thinking about everything you're doing, and so you kind of work out all the contradictions. Like, who says that? Where is that written?
Oh, yeah. That's another option, but no. Unless you have.
Yeah, I don't know. Where is that written?
Life is too complex. There's too many like factors. Basically, the reason why life is so complex is because there is, first of all, like 10,000 different factors, and whenever these factors interact with each other, they create new factors, right? So for you to be able to sit there and understand and observe all 10,000 of those factors, don't insult my intelligence. You can't. You won't ever even get close. So
dude, honestly,
you got to take it issue by issue. But on the whole, there does need to be some degree of continuity, of course.
That's exactly the kind of things Donald Trump says.
About what?
Don't insult my intelligence if you can't see your own whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're literally Donald Trump.
So, but just because he says it.
And then there's something annoying I always find about conservatives. Conservatives always have these axioms, like these things that they believe to be self-evident truths, when there's no real evidence of self-evidence.
For example?
Okay, what example do I give right now? I can't think of anything, but yeah. Like you also have there's certain things.
That convenient.
Like, I might say, we often talk about it, I'm saying, where is that written? And then you're like, oh, the common sense says it. Like, whose common sense says it?
Yeah, because come on, a little bit. When I say that, it's out of respect for your intelligence. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like, no, the thing is, common sense is not universal.
America first. What do you mean? Why are we saying this? Who would you put first if it's not America? Of course, America first.
You're not even an American. Why would you put America first?
If you're American, if you're German, you put Germany first. If you've got a little bit of excess money, a little bit of excess energy and focus, then you dedicate it to other things. But from top to bottom, it's your country. Forget your country as if I'm in love with static borders on a map. No, it's your people first. And then everybody, what is this?
Why? Why are your people? Yeah, like if you can betray your people to make some money for yourself,
okay,
why
but don't
shouldn't you
do that either? For the love of God.
Why not? Why not?
Because you're creating an unsustainable system that will collapse on itself. And Pakistan,
yeah, but you'll have the money to get out of there.
The country of your birth is one example of that. Okay, the system will collapse on itself.
I care why.
Huh?
I care why. Okay, if I make money by betraying my country, why shouldn't I do it? That's what I'm asking.
You're just being goofy now.
No, I'm seriously asking, like objective morality, right? What is objective morality? This is all subjective.
It's about morality. It's not about morality. It's about a system working. It's about the sustainability of a system working. If a system could work on us just being corrupt for 2,000-3,000 years, I wouldn't be so opposed to corruption.
This dude actually, John Shepherd, he is actually raising a very good point that it is unsustainable if you make enemies out of everyone. See, that's how you argue. You're always bringing common sense into things.
But what's the need to even state that? Obviously, of course.
No, that there is need to state that more than saying, oh, common sense dictates this.
No, because Syawish, you're like, what, 20-something years old? You've read books.
Dude,
like, I have
28.
an idea of roughly where your intelligence is, and I don't want to waste too much time just beating a dead horse.
No, to be honest, okay, somebody's saying Syawish got energized. No, when Tariq was saying that stuff about people having will, that's just stupid. That's so stupid. I don't even want to engage with it. People don't have power in most countries. That's just stupid.
Are you
Pointless.
out of your... See, don't do this, okay? Because I was just about to wrap up, for God's sake. No. We're not wrapping up now. Listen.
Dude,
what he just said. People, how many people are still tuning in? 51, yeah?
Like 51, yeah.
You play whatever Halo or whatever you're playing, yeah? People, listen. You see what he just said? Stop. Shush. 1 sec. You see what he just said is one of, if not the biggest problems with modern society. It's the reason why certain groups in society, politicians, mainly the corporate rich type people, why they are so flipping successful at controlling us and moving us in whichever direction. Oh, there's a big Black Friday sale. I'm just going to focus on that. Forget about Palestine. That's why it happens.
Oh, yeah, I actually need to get a new TV. Thank you for reminding me.
No, people do have will, a crazy amount of will. And one of the main ways that the status quo remains in status quo is because ordinary people don't appreciate the fact that they have will. If they just took a cold shower or somebody slapped them in the face really hard and went, holy crap, I've got loads of power, the world would be a lot, well, actually, it could go one of two ways. The world would be a lot more chaotic or it would be a lot better. But trust me, people have a lot of will. Don't be silly. What's wrong with you?
What country are you talking about?
It doesn't matter. It's human beings.
Dude, okay. If will mattered, it's the US would have some kind of gun control. If will mattered, Pakistan would not be in the state that it is right now. England would not be in the state that it is right now.
The will is not strong enough. That's my point. What the hell?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say, "Oh, will is not strong enough." Then you can say that about anything. I can say that you can cure your cancer by just willing it if you will it strong enough. And people who have died from cancer, they just didn't will it strong enough. It's stupid. It's pointless.
No. But I will say no. It's not like that. But I will say, by the way, because for some reason I was interested in this. I've actually read that if you maintain like a positive mindset whilst going through chemotherapy and fighting cancer and whatnot, it does enhance your chance of survival. It does, like practically.
That's a different thing. You're getting help from the outside, and then you're doing it. You're keeping yourself up as well.
Spelled creature, Syawish. When I tell you popular will has an impact, I don't mean it's going to cure world hunger. What did I just tell you? There's 10,000 factors interacting with each other. Obviously,
and
there's
people's will.
Huh? And will is one of them. It's a really important one. I wouldn't say it's the most important, but it's a really important one. It's in top 10. Top 5 as well, I'd say. I would say, yeah, top 10, top 5. Like number 5, number 6, number 4, if I'm being real generous.
Yeah, exactly. This is the manifest kind of thing.
Well,
the whole thing.
Certain worldview. You're just over here. You're just over here. Oh, whatever life does to me, I'm just gonna get here.
That's a different.
You like that?
That's a different thing for me. Like I'm a different thing in that. Like whatever life does to me is a different thing.
Look at this Omar, yeah, with his girly selfie as his profile picture. Then he goes, "This is giving me the manifested into reality."
Exactly, that's what you're doing.
Bruv, manifesting something into reality, well, first of all, just because a girl does it, it's not necessarily wrong. That's a very real thing. I manifested Hikma history. What are you talking about?
No, you didn't manifest Hikma history. You started Hikma history. Manifesting is if you manifest every single day that there's a $10,000 are going to show up in my account, and then it does. Unless you don't do any work. You got to do work.
Okay, maybe some dumb people. Of course you have to do work. Why would you assume that you don't have to do work?
Then what the hell is the manifest part?
Because when times get really tough, or when I am not getting that positive reinforcement in the shape of subscriber growth, financial growth, viewer growth, what am I depending on to keep me going. And Lord knows there's been a huge chunks
Is that
of my
manifesting?
Yeah, it's a goal that I have, and that I am.
Is it a goal or is it a manifest?
It's a goal that I am manifesting / forcing into reality. Yeah, I don't care.
How are you forcing it?
care.
Are you like using some kind of brain power, or are you just using your hand
Emotional
power?
Yeah,
Hand power sounds so
emotional power. Emotional power.
Okay.
When I get all of those negative reinforcements
Dude, what
that
are
are
you
telling
talking
me,
about?
yeah, sure. Well, if you be quiet, maybe I can explain myself. When I
Me
get
too.
all of those negative reinforcements, like my channel not doing well, like it going through a plateau, and my brain telling me, Tariq, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just stop wasting your time with this. Emotionally, I go back to that goal, that vision that I have, and I go, no. I made a promise to myself, and then
That
it
is
almost
not manifesting.
happens.
How's that manifesting?
How is it not manifesting? Because it's not real, and I'm forcing it
Manifesting is
into
a
reality.
manifesting is a completely different thing. Let me just Google that. What manifesting?
It's something that doesn't exist, and I'm bringing it into life. What else?
The act of making something happen by imagining it and consciously thinking that it will happen.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
about doing something. It's about believing
Yeah,
something will happen and then making it happen.
It's the same thing with the
Brain
popular
power.
will, Syawish. I can't just sit
How?
here and manifest Hikma history. I have to do hard work. I have to
You need a
observe the
revolution
algorithm,
in
all
order.
those
You
things.
need a
But the
revolution.
manifestation is an integral element. It's the most important element. It's the most important element by far. Because if things all went swimmingly for me, yeah, within a year I got 100,000 views, then yeah, you could say, oh, it's easy for you to say manifestation, but things weren't like that for me. And the only thing
That's not what manifesting is. And yeah, Omar has turned on you. He was like on your side early on, and then you're like, he hates you so much that he's calling your videos good. Don't do that, man. Don't give him false hope. Tariq's videos are not good.
Thank you. I apologize for calling you whatever yourself, you girly, whatever, all of that stuff. Thank you. But yeah, no, guys, manifestation is a very important thing. Don't be silly. What the hell? What kind of an empty life is that without some sort of a goal or a vision?
Dude, goal and vision are completely different things from manifesting. Manifesting is like when you just wish for something to happen and you think that with brain power you make it happen.
Okay, but you don't just do that. You got to do other things with it, like work hard. But part of it is me going to sleep. You know what the last thing I think about when I go to sleep? Every single night for the past 4 years or whatever. You know what I think about? Every single night I go to sleep. I don't care what's happening in my life, how stressful, how great. Every single night I go to sleep, I think about Hikma history.
Wanking?
No. What is my next video about? What could be a lit topic for me to talk about? And when I'm on the bathroom, maybe what's it called? Too much information. TMI. Maybe TMI. When I'm on the toilet, when I'm doing commutes, I think about Hikma history literally all day.
That's that's not manifestation. That's just visualization.
You would be a terrible flipping role model / leader, man. What is wrong with you? Don't tell.
I would be a great leader. I would be a great leader because I can do things that.
You're so pessimistic, man. You got such an impotent view of things. You don't manifest. What's wrong with you? Of course you got to manifest.
You don't even know what manifest means. Go watch some girly YouTube videos.
Listen, if you're the type of person that's just sitting back, not doing work, and just talking about, yeah, girl, I'm going to manifest it, dumb, okay? You're silly. You're an idiot, okay? All of that stuff. But if you use it as one component, hard work another one, and cheeky bit of intelligence another one, you're unbeatable. Nothing is going to come close to you.
Listen,
it doesn't matter what happens.
Listen, word genius, what you're talking about is called visualization. That's a completely different thing.
Okay, I'm manifesting a goal into reality. What is this, bro? You love
manifesting
so much.
Yeah, because without words, what are we talking about? What are we doing? Do people like looking at me on this channel? They're here for the words. I make good words, as Donald Trump says.
No, but words are only there to convey meaning, like to convey.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't choose the right word, if you don't choose the right word, how do you convey the right idea? That's the whole thing.
You know what you are, Syawish? You're an annoying little brother. That's all you are. And I've had a few of them, so I know I've got experience. You're just
You have
annoying.
little brothers? I thought you were the youngest.
I'm the oldest.
Oh, really? Like Javed and the other one are younger than you?
Yeah. All of them.
Okay.
What do you mean the other one, bro? What's wrong with you? Learn their names.
Do you know my brother's name? I only have one. And
No. But there's a difference. I don't care about your brothers. That's the difference.
yeah, I don't care about the other one either.
What's your brother's name?
It doesn't matter to you, so I'm not going to tell you now.
No. It does. That was just
I only
joking.
Listen. I only have one brother, and you don't even know his name.
Because your name is very cool. Like, I give you crap for it, but your name is very cool. Does your brother have a similarly cool name?
No.
Can you actually tell me or not?
His is Zan.
Zand?
Zan. Like
Zen?
Abidin.
Oh, Zain. Z-A-I-N.
You guys call it Zain?
Yeah. What do you say?
We say Zan.
That's kind of weird, like Zen Buddhism type. Okay, that's a gangster name. What are you talking about? That's cool.
Is it gangster? It's like quite common in Pakistan.
I know. I grew up with a couple of Zains.
You
is automatically gangster.
Well, that's that I agree with. Yes.
Zachariah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Zachariah, Zimothy. That's a very cool name.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
John T said, "I like YouTubers who don't show their face when doing documentaries. Lets you focus more on the content. Unfortunately, I've got plans on showing my face." Somebody asked about the UFC. Syawish, do you watch UFC?
No.
Syawish.
Before the whole Palestine thing, I did watch KFC, but not anymore.
You're so dumb, man. What's wrong with you? UFC. Do you watch any sports, Syawish? Real talk.
Yes.
Which one?
Wii Sports.
This is going to trigger your audience. You know, I don't understand men that don't watch any sport. Like, I can't even, like, my brain. Okay. It's not even in a disrespectful way. Well, maybe a little bit, to be honest. But like, I can't get it. Like, what do you mean?
Why do you think women shouldn't watch sports?
Bloody hell, my G! That was a massive leap and an assumption.
You said men.
Yeah, but first
you said you don't
shouldn't. I didn't say anything about shouldn't. The hell? I like when women.
That was right in there. You said men don't watch sports. Why didn't you include women? Why didn't you say people? You said men specifically.
Because more men associate with sports. Are we gonna argue later?
Why do women not watch sports? Have you not?
I'm assuming it's our basic biology. It probably starts with that first and foremost.
Women like sports. For example, if you've ever watched reality TV, you'll see that.
Are you saying that the same amount of women like sports as the same amount of men?
It depends on what sport it is. For example, throwing a glass of wine in people's face. That's a big sport. Makeup is a good sport for women.
You're just goofy. You're goofy. Wait, CJ Canton, come on. I'm a man who doesn't like sport, but it's a perfectly reasonable thing to say. Of course. CJ Canton, can you... Okay, but see, he rather work out. I'm not going to lie. That confuses me even more, man. What the hell? That's crazy. But why, CJ? What is it? Like, I don't get it. Does Tarek watch cricket? Yeah, hell yeah. To be honest with you, consistently, the only thing I watch nowadays is 2020. I know, I'm basic. And specifically the IPL and anything Afghanistan related.
Dude, why? Afghanistan doesn't even win.
Okay, I wouldn't get all brave.
The Afghan cricket team is one of the worst things to have happened to cricket. The fans are awful. They have no gentleman spirit.
Where did he go?
What?
Didn't we make it to the semi-final and you guys made it to what the hell was it, quarters or something?
Yeah, because you guys bullied the other teams because you guys are mean and bullies, and you're such sore losers.
CJ Canton, of course, the only way to play sports is be a sore loser. I hate this concept of sportsmanship.
Yeah, of course, you'd say that because you're
if you're not a sore loser, that just means you don't care about winning enough.
No, see,
Why are you playing
you would say that
sports
because you're a
if you wanna
fan.
win? Anyway, wait, CJ. Oh, I don't have time. Damn, dude. How much? Oh, he has 3 jobs. Okay, so CJ, that's a real reason. I'd love to watch boxing and UFC. CJ, get into it, man. Those are the 2 best sports, to be honest with you. I have a black belt in American kickboxing. Dude, I'm not going to say nothing to you because you got very valid reasons. Anybody else, why don't you watch sports? I don't get it. Cricket is not
because no one watches sports. People don't have the time. Only people who sit around manifesting can have the time to watch sports. People who do things, who don't manifest things, they don't have time to watch sports.
Yo, Solon said, you 2 sound like a couple that's 3 arguments away from divorce. Man. Nah. I actually like Syawish quite a lot.
Dude, gay.
What? No. I like you. What's wrong with you? I like you.
Dude, that is so gay.
What, liking you is gay?
Oh my god, that I just got killed.
Good. Tariq, is football or cricket bigger in Afghanistan? Nah. Cricket. It's not even close. It's not even close. Nothing comes close to it, to cricket.
Yeah, the other sport that they enjoy is like stealing each other's brides. Like, that's something that.
No, but listen, that would be quite an interesting sport. But the other sport is buzkashi, which is a gangster sport, if I may say so. One that I will most likely never compete in because
honestly, even the name sounds gay. Buzkashi, what the hell does that mean?
What are you talking? Buz, you like to pretend you can speak Farsi, right? It's literally buzkashi.
That is so mean. If only.
Remember? It's like a Central Asian Turkic thing.
Oh, yeah.
Using gay as an insult, Syawish. Oh, yeah. Aren't you supposed to be the leftist one? John, get at him.
I didn't say it's a bad thing. I didn't say it's a bad thing for something to be gay. I just said it's gay.
DJ, it's not real hostility. We're actually friends. Don't worry. It's polo with a sheep. Exactly. Nice. Yeah.
Like I said, it's not bad. I didn't say that the gay thing is bad. I just said it's gay.
Okay, how many people in the chat actually like the UFC? Because I'm going to give you my picks if you do like it. If it's more than 5 people. Hey, Syawish, you might as well watch the next UFC. It's a really big card. Very good one. My brother's fighting on it too, actually.
Dude, your brother can be star of a show called Brothers I Don't Care About.
Would you ever say that to their face?
Not really, no.
I know, but what's wrong with you?
Yeah, mostly because they live in Miami and I don't want to ever go to Miami.
No, but they're sweethearts.
I wouldn't be caught dead in Miami.
Prince Equalizer, stop asking me that question, man.
Well, the answer, people want to know. Why are you dodging that question? Are you like, I don't know. Or do you love the Taliban?
Because my take on it is nuanced. That's why, and I kind of want to draw down a little bit. So Prince Equalizer, I will address that in a sec. But first of all, let's do the UFC picks. Okay, main event. First of all, please understand, I have a terrible, an absolutely horrendous track record of picking UFC fights. Okay, so I could be wrong literally by every fight. Main event, I got Max Holloway. Yeah, I got Max Holloway. Big, longer, good chin, very good stand-up, good takedown defense.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What does his chin have to do with it?
Because it means you can take a punch. Somebody with a bad chin.
Honestly, that sounds like 2 guys who want to make love to each other, but they don't want to admit it. You're measuring people's chins.
I'll be real. Listen, I'll be real with you. This is one thing I never understood. When people say, I don't know about MMA, but when people say, oh, jiu-jitsu is gay. Gay? I'm gonna rip your shoulder off your body. What's gay? What do
That
you
is
mean?
exactly what what gays want to do. Have you ever met a gay guy?
Of course.
They want to do that kind of stuff all the time
They
to each
don't.
other.
Anyway, so I got Max Holloway in the main event. In the co-main event, I got my boy Bobby Knuckles. Big fan of, big fan. He's literally my favorite UFC fighter. So I got Bobby Knuckles in the co-main, Robert Whittaker. Yeah, I think cardio, just a lot of experience. His problem a little bit is a chin/leaping in with punches. But I don't really see how Khamzat's going to be able to capitalize on that massively. Of course he could. Then we got Laurent Murphy and Dan Ige. Damn, that's a good fight, man. I used to be really big on Laurent Murphy, but he's not active enough. And Dan Ige is a savage. Let me think. Dan Ige, great grappling, but he's fallen in love with his power. I might have to go with Laurent Murphy for that one, to be fair, because he's shown heart and a chin as well in recent fights, especially with that Barboza one. I think Barboza was the last fight. So I'd go with Laurent with that one. But out of all three of those, that's the one I feel least confident about. Magomed Ankalaev and Rakic, I would go with...
Okay, what is happening on my channel?
You're playing your video games. Listen, it's a Sunday. I got time to waste. I got Ankalaev for that one. Shara Bullet versus Armen Petrusian. I'm gonna be real. I've never seen Petrusian fight. I've seen Shara Bullet fight. I think he's pretty good. Because I haven't seen the other guy fight, I can't really give you a prediction. Oh damn, Volkov and Cyril Gane were on this fight. Okay. Jeff Neal RDA. Damn, that's a good fight, man. Damn.
Sorry, I forgot I was on camera.
What did you do?
I yawned.
That's fine. I think, let me see. That's a good one. Oh, RDA is so flipping competent, man.
Dude, what are we doing?
Jeff Neal. What?
What are we talking about? Why are we discussing this stuff?
I don't know the next fight.
The boring stuff is what we keep on Hikma history.
Farid and Victor Hugo, gangster name by the way, hilarious. I would definitely go Farid. And Rinat Fakhreddinov and Nur Sultan Ruzabev. Yeah. I might have to go with Rinat for that one. But
dude, answer the Taliban question. That's actually interesting.
Okay.
I want to see you get cancelled.
What do you mean, get out of there, man? Cancel. I don't want to flip in. Okay, answer the Taliban question. Nobody even interacted with the whole UFC picks. Nobody was listening.
No one cares.
Taliban. Okay. So where do I begin? Okay, listen. Remember, everything is about context. That's why when I do my videos, if I'm doing the Bangladesh Liberation War, it will be a 16-minute video, 3 minutes about the war, 12 minutes about the context. Everything is about context. You got to remember, Afghanistan has been through war continuous war for about 40 years, So when you've experienced that firsthand, secondhand, third hand, it leaves you with a pronounced appreciation for security. When I say pronounced appreciation, I don't mean, it makes security go from number 3 to number 2, or maybe just a close number 1. No, it makes security damn near the only thing that matters. Okay? So, from that perspective, not necessarily because I agree with their ideology or their political vision or anything like that, just the fact that they have brought security, that I am a massive fan of. For that, not only am I a fan, a crisp salute to them. Like, thank you.
What are you talking about?
There's no war in Afghanistan at the moment. That's what I'm talking about.
So you're saying that there's no war in the Afghanistan because the terrorists won?
Whatever you want to call them, there's no war in Afghanistan. I don't care. This
Yeah.
is my point. I'm glad you made that foolish comment because it highlights something. Again, when you have experienced 40 plus years of war, you become real open-minded to who comes and brings you that security. Okay, where the people who are not open-minded, they're the ones who are not living in that environment. Which, funnily enough, I'm also not living in that environment. But your boy got excellent empathy skills. I can close my eyes and put myself in the shoes of an ordinary Afghan young man.
Okay. Okay. So wait, sorry. So you can manifest, and you're an empath, right?
Oh, I'm excellent at empathy.
Why are you not doing? Why are not you not doing so well in the TikTok female white women groups? Because that's all that they're about.
I find them annoying, man. If I'm being honest,
That's all that they're about: manifesting and being an empath.
They're annoying. Bro, you can't do this stuff without actual hard labor, like effort and whatever. If you just sit there, yay, I'm gonna manifest, whatever. Shush, man. You're with the fairies. What the hell? Anyway, so once you've been through that, you become real tolerant to who brings you that kind of a peaceful environment. Yeah, it's only the diaspora. It's only people that are not Afghans living in comfortable settings that go
like yourself,
like myself, but I can detach myself. So please put respect on myself. Thank you.
Sure.
That say that. Okay. So yeah, once you've been through that kind of an experience, anybody that brings you peace and stability, even if it is at least now for short term, it's like, thank you so much. You know, this will just cause another war. I don't know about that, CJ. I'd like to hear your reasoning.
Have you? I don't think you answered the question. Do you love the Taliban?
Oh, okay. I can definitely answer that. No, I can definitively say I don't love the Taliban now. But I have a nuanced viewpoint on them. I like certain things. I don't like other things. Yeah.
Do you hate them?
Absolutely not. No way.
Then basically you love them. Then that's basically how it works.
But you have the emotional makeup of a 13-year-old girl. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I don't know why you need to say girl.
Because their hormonal cycle, they're a lot more up and down when they're 13, especially when they're 13, when it first starts hitting them. What do you mean why?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I definitely don't hate them, and I definitely don't love them. So it's somewhere in the middle. Certain things that I really like, certain things I kind of like, certain things I kind of dislike, certain things I really dislike.
That is the wrong answer, but okay.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know anything. Some people are talking about Pakistan. I don't know anything about Pakistan's politics to actually say something about that, because I have no idea.
Tariq acting like he's on an MDMA come up. What's wrong? What like my body manner is just because I do this? I've been told that I touch my face a lot. I don't know. I find it really difficult. You know, when people, if I ever got interviewed by a news outlet, I think that would be a nightmare. Like just sitting there and doing this and talking and moving my lips, I find that damn near impossible. I need all of this. I need all of this. I need this. It's like this. You know, I need all of that sort of stuff. It's got to be dynamic.
Sure. So yeah, does anybody keep talking? Anybody talking?
Okay, guys, it's finally time. This was fun, but this was actually quite fun. I'm not gonna lie. But listen, Syawish, we need to genuinely consider. Like, I'm being serious. I know we talk about it for banter, but we need to genuinely consider doing a podcast, man.
Dude, what are we going to talk about on podcasts that we don't talk about here?
Yeah, but okay, just move this into a podcast format.
I don't know. This is like we take answers and questions and answers. I think this is much better than a podcast.
But if you're gonna do some, this is right now just like I want to blow off some steam.
What we need to do is
when there's like growth and everything involved, we gotta do it proper, man. You gotta sit down, create a plan.
Okay, what we need to do is I need to bring like a notebook and like talk about your inconsistencies. Sorry.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I think we should genuinely
Yeah.
do it. All we got to do is the thing that we attempted to do, and I think we did a better job than in other live streams. But I failed. I think you did a decent job of this. Is just come up with proper questions prior to the podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my community was slacking. I'll be honest. I posted it on Instagram, which I'm not very active on. Dead response. I posted it on my YouTube community, which is normally quite popping.
Yeah.
Again, no offense.
People, your subscribers usually have more interesting questions.
Yeah, I know.
Not gonna lie.
So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. Come up with like cool questions, man. Because I'm quite an opinionated guy. And I'm starting to care way less, I'll be honest. I feel like I shouldn't say this, but I'm starting to care significantly less than I used to about that whole PC, like censoring myself. Yeah. So, and once I reach my final stage where I can be 100% honest, I'm telling you right now, you will never need another form of information in your life, because the opinions I have, be it the fact that they are contradictory, be the fact that some of them are a little, I will put my hands up and admit, a little on the crazy side and whatnot. Yeah, you're going to be in for
crazy side for like liberals, because you just have like basic.
Yeah. I think they're normal. Yeah. I think they're normal. No, also, but even privately with you, I haven't actually shared everything.
Okay, somebody's asking for our thoughts on the Hazara. What do you want to know about the Hazara?
I don't know. They're very interesting. Who is it? Osabo?
They're like Mongol of Mongol origins, right?
Yeah, apparently, but it's really weird. That seems to be the case, but I don't think it's been conclusively proven.
Oh, hey, do you know? There's this rapper. Wait, how do? Okay, yeah, sorry. There's this rapper called.
Hold on, I need to turn on the fan. It's getting warm.
Yeah, Mr. Capone.
Mr.
Capone. He pretends to be like a Mexican.
Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, he's American, right? With all the tattoos and stuff.
He's from Pakistan. He's a member of the Hazara community.
I think I heard about that. Yeah, that's mad.
Yeah, I always thought he was like, what's the word? Hispanic.
Yeah. Hazaras. I think Hazaras are very interesting, man. I think they're very interesting.
See, you've turned Omar against you now. He's like, he just said W channel because he doesn't like your channel anymore.
Omar, what's going on, man? Omar, you a subscriber to my channel? You
were disrespectful to my boy.
You're sending $5. You're sending $5 to this guy with his terrible opinions.
Exactly. Yes, that's because you were so disrespectful to him.
Send some money to your boy, bro. But wait. Why did you just completely ignore the previous one? The Hazaras. Hazaras are very interesting, man. I like learning about them. I like how they're a little different from most of the other groups in Afghanistan, which makes them interesting.
Well, they're in Afghanistan too?
No, they're mainly in Afghanistan. What do you mean?
Really? I thought they were just in Pakistan.
Where do you think the ones in Pakistan came from? And when? They only came in like 1880s onwards.
Okay.
And why do you think they settled in Balochistan predominantly? Because it's right next to the border with Afghanistan.
Nice. By the way, I've got like a Al Muqaddimah colors controller.
Okay, that's
pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so what else? Now I'm done gaming. Now we can get back to the whole thing.
Tariq, who do you think will win if Saudi and Iran go to war? Oh, easy. Iranian dub. Live
really?
work. Yeah.
Iran would win? You're saying Iran would win?
Easily. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, obviously it depends like what shape it takes. If Iran is the invading force, I don't know, that could whatever. But most, like 8 out of 10 times, I think Iran just I don't even think, I don't know about walk in the park, but it would be pretty straightforward. Like I think people would be shocked.
So you don't think that with all the US's support, Saudi Arabia would be able to get a leg up?
Nah, not necessarily. Why? No,
I don't
because
know. The US
wars, of course, like things happening behind the scenes, the finances, geopolitical alliances, all those things make a difference. But wars are fought on the ground, like that's where wars are fought, you know. And the lack of a military tradition that the Saudis have, yeah, how are they going to win? I don't get it. If Iraq, with the fourth biggest army in the world, didn't even come close to getting the upper hand on Iran, whilst it was going through revolutionary change and international sanctions, by the way, meaning that they couldn't change they couldn't get new equipment as easily. Oh, I have a video coming out on that as well, the Iran-Iraq war. Then Saudi will be light work, man, light work. And by the way, the Saudis know this, because they're smart. They know this.
They're smart. That's a very controversial thing to say.
Now they do some dumb things, but no. The Saudi, I mean, up until Mohammed bin Salman, man, and even with him, it's the socio-cultural stuff that he's doing. He's modernizing too quick. Apart from that, I always laughed at when people would look at all those oil-rich Saudis, how dumb they are, how they're misusing their money. Blah, blah. What are you talking about? Like the way in which they were modernizing without engaging in regional or global conflicts as they're building themselves up, fermenting a national identity. Genius. It was nothing short of brilliant. It's just Mohammed bin Salman, and even Mohammed bin Salman is predominantly the cultural stuff, you know, like inviting Iggy Azalea to do a concert, or just pushing too hard with the reforms, the westernizing reforms.
So you don't think that Neom is indicative of how inherently stupid he is?
Well, hey, we don't know that. You don't know that. What are you, an economist? How do you know that? Maybe that's the future.
Because economists said that.
It is dumb, but I don't know. I don't have enough information. I don't think most people who pass a comment on that, they don't have enough information on it. So just, I don't know, go do your research. What do you know about whether it's going to be successful or not?
Yeah, a city a city like a lion city sitting in a line, that's usually the most ideal geographic or geometric shape for a city to take. You know, it needs to be straight.
I know on the surface level, but you don't know how these things will end. For example, all the money that Saudi is splashing on sports, on the surface level, that sounds insane to me. That sounds like a very dumb, not smart thing to do. But I don't know. Maybe they got a plan just down the line that this feeds into, and that plan helps them make more money. Or if it's not money, it gives them some other sort of capital. I don't know, soft power or something. We don't know these things. Because on the surface level, it sounds dumb to be paying Neymar, who's played, I don't know, 10 games, $100 million contract. I don't know, that sounds very dumb to me, but I don't know. I feel like they might have a plan.
Okay, sorry. So is Peshawar the best city in Pakistan? Bro, Peshawar isn't even the best city in Peshawar.
That doesn't make sense. But okay, it is by far. And this is as a person who's never seen any other Pakistani city apart from Abbottabad. Swat is a city, I guess.
Abbottabad is the place where Osama bin Laden was captured, right?
Yes.
What were you doing there?
Living.
With whom?
My dad.
Your dad isn't named Osama bin Laden, is he?
I got to double check, but I don't think so. Last time I checked, he's still alive.
Well, I'm not saying that Osama bin Laden is not alive. I'm just saying that. I'm just trying to establish if that's what you were doing in Abbottabad.
Right. Can you do it in a smarter way?
No, because then you would not understand it.
Decent comeback, and for now I concede defeat. I've got nothing else to give you.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. So tell us about the time you were a supporter of Pakistan Muslim League in Pakistan. Yeah, that was quite a long time ago, but not anymore. It was because they used to have the identification mark of a bicycle, and I thought that it was like a cycling group or something. And at that time, I was into that kind of stuff, but not anymore. So yeah, we should end this because I'm like ill, and I'm like, you know,
Hey, actually, I don't want to start talking about that, but whatever.
dude. Okay. Do you guys speak Urdu? I speak Urdu. Tariq speaks. What do you speak again?
तुम मेरे बाप नहीं है ना I know उर्दू
Yeah,
क्या
sure.
बात है
Sure.
ए भाईजान क्या बात है
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं
You kind of speak Espanol as well, right? A little bit.
sí claro ¿por qué no
Mm. Yeah. Actually, you speak it quite. I don't know, speak it enough or at all to tell, but you know when you speak it, I can tell that you're just some Hispanic guy or something.
yeah because I like Spanish accent. All you gotta do is just try to talk like soft. And the good thing about Farsi, Pakhto, Urdu is they're soft languages, so you don't come at it from like English. Hola, ¿qué pasa, mate? Or hombre. It's much softer, hombre. There's no problem saying and que and So I love Spanish, man. I've told myself because I've gone into learning it multiple times. I've told myself I'm going to give myself one more crack at it, and that's my last crack. And if I stop, because I always stop. If I stop, I'm going to just drop the pretension.
Did you say you do crack?
No. I'm going to give it another crack. It's an English metaphor.
So not crack, like crack.
Yeah.
I thought that was why you were learning Spanish, but okay.
No. But Spanish people do like crack is I don't know if it's a Latino thing, but like Castellano, like mainland Spain, crack is the word that they use for banter, almost like similar to banter. Que crack.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We should end this now because I really have to go.
Yeah, which is the best language of all. All right, people.
Really? How can you say that?
What, Pashto? Dude, honest to God, every single year, my appreciation for Pashto as a quote-unquote gangster language just goes through the roof. And don't worry, Urdu is like an upper echelon language in my estimation.
Have you ever heard Punjabi? We are the most gangster language there is.
No, but my definition of
you know how we say somebody is very strong?
How?
We say this guy can break almond shells with his rectum.
That's incredible. That's
what we say when we see this guy is very strong.
No, I'm not like a typical Afghan that is not a fan of Pakistan. I got a lot of appreciation for the Urdu language, but Pakhto is just incredible, man. First of all, the way it sounds. Second of all, like, yeah, it's heavily Persianized. It's got a lot of influence from there, but it's got influence from a bunch of random places, like Indo-European, Aryan, like ancient Aryan type stuff as well. Mataluna proverbs that they have, amazing. It's just unfortunately not rich enough vocab-wise, which hopefully we can change in the future.
Yeah, the Taliban are working on it.
The Taliban.
The Taliban.
The Taliban.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, people. This was a pleasure. Let me know if you have any ideas about how we can change this into a podcast, because Syawish is flipping annoying.
Dude, I'm not doing a podcast with you ever.
What's wrong with you? I'm telling you, it would be lit. What's wrong with you?
Because it's like I can't do that. It's like, this is cool. It's like, yeah.
Kuzan, I'm not gonna address this too much, but I'm gonna Google it right now just to research later. Abbas Kiarostami, because I'm getting into Persian movies actually. If they're good, I'm definitely gonna check them out. Okay. Is there any word for peace in Pashto? Of course there is. Sola.
Sola?
Sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes from Arabic. Sulh or something.
Nice.
Salah, yeah, whatever. I wonder if it's related to Salah.
I believe that the word Sola and Salah are related.
Yeah.
Make it in the same way that salam and Islam and salam are related.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. People, I need to leave. Thank you. This was fun. Come up with lit questions. We see more and more of the same faces in these live streams. So now you have kind of an idea of what kind of questions we like. Just like history, but then a little bit of politics and a little bit of philosophy.
Dude, wait, let me get Greyjoy so people can say goodbye to him.
This is somehow longer than a Midwestern goodbye. Bruh, I tried saying goodbye like 5 times.
Good boy. Dude, he's not around.
Good. Thank God. I don't want to see that ugly guy.
Dude, what?
All right.
Wow, so rude.
Okay.
All right, goodbye.
Goodbye, people.
And goodbye, Tariq, as well. I'm not going to do any off-camera stuff.
Oh, okay.